the last time I can feel that burning deep inside. Gonna give it all I am. Gotta feel that power in my hands. Beat of the drums rushing through my skin.
There's silverware on the line in the BBL.
And the Leicester Riders are going to the BBL Cup final. It will be against the Manchester Giants.
Crandall to the spin. Oh, man. Armstrong looking to attack quickly. Beautiful move. Wheeler drives in, drops it off to Walker. Here's Clark, and he jams it home.
We're here at the Utilita Arena with over 10,000 British basketball fans in attendance for finals day. The Lions have already taken down the WBBL Cup. Now it's time for some of the BBL's biggest stars to go head-to-head, hoping to land this season's first piece of silverware. Rob Paternostro and his Leicester Riders continue their perennial quest for honours today, pitting their skills against the Manchester Giants, who have their sights set on taking down their first ever title. It promises to be an enthralling BBL Cup final. Welcome back to Birmingham. One final down, one to go, and joining our team this afternoon, a man who knows all about the big occasion. Number 44, Ramon Fletcher, the two-time league MVP, and very much the heart and soul of this Eagles team.
Fletcher's going to try his luck from three-point range and knock it down.
Really nice.
Fletcher going quick, and nobody will catch it.
And that's one player you don't want to wake up, Mr. 44, Ramon Fletcher.
Three-time BBL Cup Final MVP Ramon Fletcher, delighted to say, joining us, his former Eagles teammate Drew Lasker and Kieran Achara, present and correct as well. Fletch, good to see you. You've achieved so much in your BBL career, but does Cup Finals Day hold a special place in your heart?
Of course, it's for many reasons, because it's the first silverware that you can get, and me being a part of the Eagles for the tradition and everything like that, it's just something special about the Cup Final, so we always got up for it, and I'm glad to be here today.
Yeah, there was a very different atmosphere, Drew, from last year, a final that you and Ramon played in, of course. How hyped are you to see over 10,000 fans in the house?
I'm just happy to get back to a little bit of normality. As you mentioned before, last year was an empty gym. And so to be able to be here with my guy, who I know when you're in this environment, he was going to be at his best.
You two have won a fair few things in your time, haven't you? So perfectly poised to guide us through this one. Kieran, we're going to be enjoying watching some of the biggest names in the BBL right now. We've got the reigning league MVP, Gino Crandall, Dan Clark, the team GB skipper. How important is it as a showcase for British basketball that we've got some of the very best players in the business on this court today?
We always talk about the performance is there. You know, we've got the image, everything's always working. But that exposure, you know, allowing people the opportunity to see the game at the big stage with some big players, that's what British basketball needs, and I'm glad that there's going to be that spectacle here today.
Now, if this is your first taste of British basketball, it is very good to have you with us. We are going to get you set for the big game. And Ramon, I want to understand just what a room like this does when it is packed, compared to your experience last season when you're playing a big game like this with no real energy. How much do players feed off a crowd like this?
It's huge, because when you do those special plays, or you hit that big three, or get that defensive stop, you look for someone to give you momentum. And with a crowd like this, with a packed sellout like this, I bet it's going to do nothing but good things for these players out here.
And in terms of big game approach, because Drew, every time there's a final or a major game, on the line, coaches, players will tell you the same thing. Oh, we're just treating this like any other game. But it's not like any other game, is it? How do you get set for a game like this?
Well, let me put that out here now. This is not just another game. This is when the lights are the brightest. This is when the stars shine the brightest. And it's all about the day. Previous form is irrelevant. Can you get the job done today?
We had the Delpech derby last week, Kieran, didn't we? This week we've got the Whelan brothers squaring off. So sibling rivalry is absolutely thriving in the BBL right
That's what I'm saying. We talk about BBL family. We were taking it to the next level.
Apparently they haven't played against each other since they were teenagers, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that game. First ever major final for Manchester. Rob Paternostro and the Riders, they've got a lot more experience in the tank. How big an advantage do you think that's going to be for them, Kieran, today?
You know, it all comes down to mindset. I know that Leicester Riders will be up for this game. You know, we know what to expect. That expectation's there. Rob knows how to handle this situation. From the Manchester's perspective right now, how are they going to respond? Are those nerves going to overtake them, or is that going to actually motivate them to take them to the next level? So I'm really curious to see how they handle it today.
Drew, as we well know, you will take, and Fletch, I'm sure you've seen this, any opportunity you can to roll footage of the Eagles winning something, right? That's been a common thread this season. So why not do that once again, Sings' Cup final day? Let's have a look at how you guys landed the Cup last season.
Sorry, Kieran.
Williams looking to attack. Nice shot from Dirk Williams. Fletcher looking to go to work against Walker all the way to the basket. Has Ward Hibbert with him, takes it alone. Oh, the follow from Eagles in the game. Eagles in the game. Edwards. Gordon, corner three. Strokes it, and we are tied. Robinson has a mismatch with the foe, takes the three. Justin Robinson puts the London Lions in front. Fletcher driving in, off the glass. Oh, what a rebound from Gordon. Fletcher goes again. Fletcher fighting his way through. It goes! Ramon Fletcher, what a finish. And the Newcastle Eagles are the 2021 BBL Cup champions.
Fletch, what kind of memories come back watching that?
Oh man, it's lovely. You know, I think that's one of the best cup finals that I've been a part of. Just the situation with the COVID and no fans, and just have the teammates like Drew and Justin and Cortez, like that was big for us. And just to get that trophy, I loved it.
And of course, you were in control of the game for it. Well, it was in the lead for a fair bit. Then you went behind and clawed it back. So it was never really in doubt, was it?
No, we just had to make it interesting for the fans that were watching. Yes, we had the lead, but we just wanted to make it a little bit interesting for a cup final.
That Justin Gordon board, how often was that replayed on the Coach Home?
Quite often, as you can tell. I mean, he had an unbelievable final, set the record for rebounding, and obviously helped us lead to cup victory.
Yeah, hell of a play. You as well. We love another thriller like that one this afternoon. Let's remind ourselves of how these teams made it to the final. Both had narrow wins in the quarters. The Riders edging the Phoenix, the Giants seeing off Surrey. That set up a Giants-Rocks semi-final with Leicester meeting London. And with the Manchester-Glasgow game, another thriller for the Giants. Over two legs, of course. Manchester clawing back a 10-point deficit from the first leg to overcome Glasgow. And Jordan Whelan in particular had a huge game, Kieran.
Yeah, stepped up when he needed to down the stretch. And he wanted to be here. He knew he was going to be playing against his brother. So I think that was a little bit of added motivation.
It was a heartbreaker for the Rocks, though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was that indeed.
That only needed one word answer, didn't it? Leicester, well, they'd allowed London right back into the semi-final, having seen dead and buried. They were 23-point deficit that the Lions clawed back to just 3, but big Riders performance in the second leg, taking care of business, Drew.
Yeah, the Leicester Riders showed me that they are the real deal. Over 80 minutes, London kept clawing back, throwing punches, but they held their composure and ultimately came to victory.
Composure is a word we often hear associated with this Riders team. Let's take a closer look, starting with Leicester. And title holders unbeaten in the league so far this season. Do you get a sense, Kieran, that based on what we've seen so far this year, they're even stronger year on year than they were last year?
I say this every year. I really believe they are. I think, all their little weaknesses last year, they've been eradicated. We talked about maybe their interior defence. They've been great, so I see them definitely improved, and that's because Gino Crandall has also improved. I think that takes it to a whole new dimension.
bringing back a core once again, that's something very much that Newcastle are big on as well, as you were alluding to, Fletch. How key is that continuity how key is continuity to success in the BBL? When you look at how successful Newcastle have been, Leicester, year on year, there seems to be a common thread there.
Of course, it's very important that you have that core because you have those long trips to Plymouth, those long trips to Surrey, and when you have that veteran leadership that can lead the way by example and not only by vocal, then that's huge in the locker room.
And with Coach Paternostro, talk us through the style of ball that he likes to play, because that's something you hear a lot about him and about the Riders, that there is a really clear sense of identity and philosophy and vision.
Mm-hmm. He has a machine. You know, he has his system, and the good thing about Rob, he can adjust to his players as well. Not only, this is my system, I don't care who comes in here, you have to play this way. He adjusts to his players, and they fit in perfect. He does a great job recruiting.
Drew, is he a coach that you look at and think, I'd love to play for?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, he, like Fletch mentioned, he's a player's coach, he's a tactician, and he has his team rolling, second in offense, first on defense, so they're playing both sides of the ball. A great coach for our league.
All right, let's hear from two of the main men on this Riders team under the stewardship of Coach Paternostro. Last year's MVP, Gino Crandall, and one of the new additions this year, Patrick Whelan.
Crandall is first to it. Crandall will run it back and hammer it in. And he stares down the shot as Leicester open up a 10-point lead. Here's Whelan. That's an incredible play. Crandall's going to take another three.
All right, we've had a decent start to the season. Is this what you expected when you signed for Leicester?
Pretty much. You know, I knew in the past we kind of won a lot. I seen you obviously returned. I seen Darian returned. I seen Mo was coming back. Knew it was going to be a good team. This is your first cup final. How does that feel?
You know, just having that opportunity early in the season to win a trophy is something we didn't have the opportunity to do last year. So definitely looking to capitalize on that. I think we probably have the best, preparation set up in the league. We watch a ton of film, we scout things, we try and take things away from teams, we try and exploit things on offense. Maybe you feel different, but I feel like for us it's just kind of going to be another day in the office.
In the cup final, are you going to feel any pressure? Do you feel like you have something to prove? Do you feel like, maybe we got a chip in our shoulder? What do you think?
Nope.
Nope.
No. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's just another game. I'm also not playing my brother, so maybe you got a little more pressure than anybody.
It ain't no pressure. It ain't no pressure.
Yeah, so what's that going to be like for you? Is this a big deal in the Whelan household?
I mean, in the Whelan household, it's definitely a big deal. Everyone's been talking it up. Me and Jordan probably won't get into it too much. We understand that there's obviously another 8 players on the court, even if we're both on the court together. So
that's real diplomatic.
We'll see.
Who does mom and dad want to win more? Be honest. They got one that they want to win.
I don't know. My mom likes watching us play. She likes the style we play. So I feel like she's going to be rooting for us for sure. My dad could go either way.
Okay.
My mom doesn't like the way Manchester
We'll take one. So what do you think about Coach Rob so far? In terms of you guys' relationship, does he kind of meet what you expected coming in, or is he kind of, out there?
He's definitely out there. It wasn't probably not what I expected. I'm not going to lie. I feel like the passion that you get from Rob, you don't really get from a ton of coaches. And also like the freedom you get when it comes to Rob. So how do you think that's helped you as a player?
For me personally, it's been big for my development as a point guard, as kind of a floor general, because he kind of just gives me the freedom. Sometimes maybe Rob will call 2 plays for the whole game. He's just like, Gino, you got it, you call it, and whatever, So I'll say I got a really good relationship with Rob, and I love playing for him.
That's your MVP doing MVP things.
So what do you think? What's the scouting report? Give me the breakdown so I know what to expect.
All right. With Manchester, you got to worry about a lot of 3-point shooting, first off. You got Dan Clark, who's probably their best shooter, who plays at the 5. Tariq Armstrong, it doesn't take as many of them, but it's also still a good shooter. Jordan, Josh Steele, Will Saunders, they got really, really good shooters. They're a solid defensive team, but not the best defensive team. There's little parts of their defense that you can expose a little bit, and but I think they have good defenders on the perimeter. Maybe inside they're lacking a little bit, but yeah, we'll see on game day.
Armstrong lobs in, and Anderson with the flush.
So obviously you played with Jamel Anderson. What's that going to be like playing against Jamel for the first time as a Manchester Giant?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to it. Jamel fouls a lot. He's got way too much energy. He's just probably going to be chasing me around the court all game, and I'm just, I'm not looking forward to it. But it'd be nice to see him.
Yeah.
Pat, give me one thing you're most looking forward to about the final.
Bringing home the trophy back to Leicester. I mean, what else we there for? You feel me?
Boom. Good. One take. I like it.
And there is the reigning BBL MVP, Gino Crandall. We were delighted that he came back for a second season. And Fletch, you've had some real tussles with him over the last 18 months. What's he like to play against?
He's tough. He's a floor general. He knows how to play on offense and defense. And that's going to be one of the big things today, that I'm pretty sure he's going to set the tone defensively and let his offense just happen.
Do you think his game's moved on?
100%.
How so?
You could just tell by his mentality of how he's playing. He's not too worried about the moves or the circuit shots. He's worried about making the right play at the right time.
Mentality, Drew, is the operative word. On your podcast this week, he was a guest on there, and he was talking about that in the off-season, concentration on his mental strength was something that you really focused on.
Well, that's critical. When you get to this level, everybody can play. It's more mental than it is physical. And the mental demons that you have within yourself, that mental games you have with your opponents. So to have a star like Gino Crandall talk about the importance of the mental aspect is great.
Huge player for Leicester. Patrick Whelan fast becoming that as well. Interesting that in a piece this week that he wrote on the BBL website, he talked about how much fun the Riders are having. Kieran, it seems like a very harmonious camp, Leicester.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's enjoying his basketball, but I love his aggressiveness. He's one of those players that's not scared to put his head down and attack the rim, and that's for Leicester Riders, who's such a composed team at times. That's a great addition to their team.
As we're seeing Fletch as well, third in the BBL from the three-point range. Sharp shooting's very much his strong suit, isn't it?
100%. You got to account for him at all times, especially in transition.
Mark Loving, a stretch four, wiry player, got length, so he's tough defensively. Mike Tuck was telling us, in fact, Kieran, just how difficult he is to guard.
Yeah, and again, I've said this all throughout the season. He has been big for, player of the month last month. He can shoot the ball at an impressive rate, which also opens up his drive because you have to play him tight. He's got that length, he's got a nice touch around the basket, and a big offensive rebounder as well. I think great.
Reading between the lines, I think Kieran Achara is saying Mark Loving might be a sneaky MVP candidate, and that's exactly what you think about Zach Jackson, Drew.
Zach Jackson is my dark horse MVP. In this environment, it's tough to shoot threes. He's their best mid-range player for the Leicester Riders with an array of pull-ups, floaters. I look for him to have a great game today.
One more for you, the skipper, Darian Nelson Henry. Speaking, Kieran, of incredibly tough players to guard, he'd be right up there.
Yeah, I like his composure. He's came back from injury. He's made an impact straight away. But yeah, he's one of those. We talk about floor generals. He's the leader of this team. He's the captain of this team. He keeps them grounded and makes the right plays when they need them.
That's a very big part of Rob Paternostro's MO in terms of recruiting, isn't it? It's the character off the court as much as the player on the court.
It's the number one thing in Rob's recruitment. He needs good people, and he knows good people. He can turn them into whatever he needs them to turn them into. He needs those good people to be able to do that.
Let's hear from the Riders head coach, Paternostro. Built up with Drew Lasker a little bit earlier.
After a 6-year absence, record-breaking crowd, how does it feel to be back?
Awesome. Yeah, it's an awesome event. I think that everybody in the BBL wants to be here. We feel like that we played good basketball to get here. We got through the cup, the beginning of the season, did well, and then had some tough games to get through, but we got through, and now we're here, and we're all excited about it.
And what was your approach in your team's preparation this week?
Similar, as always. A lot of video, though. We hadn't seen them before, so we had to spend a lot of time with the video, prepare for them, get ourselves ready, making sure the bodies are ready. I think it's very important coming into a game like this that we're ready to go. And the guys had a great week of practice and excited to be here.
With Connor Washington only having finals experience with this group, how much will that play a factor tonight?
I'm not that concerned about the fact that we don't have that many people that have played in finals before. These guys have all played in big games. I think it's important that, we deal with their runs. They're a team that can really get out in the open floor, make plays. So we got a defensive performance today. We talked a lot about defense all week.
And what will it take for your team to get its first piece of silverware and to become Cup champions?
Limit easy opportunities. I think that, you give this team easy opportunities. They take advantage of that. And then taking care of the ball on the offensive end. We've done a great job of that this year. I think that's going to be really important today.
Good luck tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
Is there pressure when you're a clear favourite for the game, which the Riders are today, and expectation levels are therefore high? How would Coach Paternostro diffuse that before the game, do you think?
I think, like Drew said, you kind of try to treat it like a regular game and try to instill that mentality as soon as possible. But you also have to realize that it's not a regular game. And just let the emotions happen. Just let them flow through the players. And once they get on the court, it's a normal game.
We also heard from Gino on your show earlier this week, Drew, that he, when given the reasons why he came back for another season with Leicester, cited Rob Paternostro right at the top there, and interestingly said there are only a handful of coaches he's had throughout his entire career that inspire him as much as Rob does.
Yeah, I think a big part of that, like Fletch mentioned, is the freedom that Rob allows his players. And for a point guard, that's what you want. You want to be the floor general. You want to control the game, control the tempo. And Rob does a great job of giving him the reins and letting him run the team.
Kieran, are you agreeing with the pre-game billing of the Riders? Worthy, recognizable favourites going into this one? Do you think it might be closer than some people are suggesting?
I think it's I think if any team offensively, I think Manchester are a threat, but shooting the ball in this gym can be a very, very difficult situation. So see how they handle. But at the same time, the attention to detail that Leicester have, that's what gives them the edge.
The Riders are a formidable opponent, but the Giants absolutely stacked with talent too. Next up, we'll meet some of the key protagonists that make Manchester tick.
Armstrong locked in, and Anderson with the flush.
What are your thoughts? What are your insights that you can probably give us as a team in terms of the finals that you've had with Leicester?
I know all their plays, so that'll probably help. I'm playing. I don't know our own plays.
There's Clark again.
Welcome back to Birmingham. Live coverage Welcome back to Birmingham. Dramatic pause for effect there because it is the BBL Cup final coming your way very shortly. The Manchester Giants aiming to upset the odds and take down their first ever BBL silverware. They're very much a team on the up, of course. Some high-profile new signings in the off-season, including Team GB skipper Dan Clark. Kieran, we talked about it at the top of this season, but he's such a huge arrival for the league, isn't he?
Huge arrival. You know, he does all the little things correctly. You know, he's got a really, really high IQ, and I really believe he makes his players, his teammates better. You know, shooting the ball, passing the ball, whatever it takes for his team to play at that level.
Jamal Anderson, another big name signing for them as well from the Riders. It's going to be an emotional afternoon for him, Drew, up against his old teammates. Is that typically an emotion that gets stirred up during the week of the game, in the build-up to the game, but the moment you get on court, it all gets forgotten, or is it going to be running through his head throughout the course of the afternoon?
You hit the nail on the head. During the week, you think about it, but as soon as the whistle is blown, the ball is thrown up, all bets aside, he's trying to capture a championship for the Manchester Giants.
Those signings of Dan Clark and Jamal Anderson have really helped propel the Giants into the top tier of the BBL, and we caught up with both of them a little bit earlier on this week.
Clark, the three.
Obviously he can score, he can shoot the three, but his passing ability as well, he makes his teammates around him better.
Anderson is a guy that can guard 1 through 4 anybody in the British Basketball League. Oh, Anderson all on his own with the one-handed throwdown.
Your first year in Manchester, you liking Manchester, you liking living here?
Yeah, I love it. Married life now as well, so to add that as well, I get to play with, you know, my brother-in-law Callum, so it's great. I think the city is amazing. I think it's a great place to play. Yourself?
Loving being back in the UK, the British culture, all that stuff you take for granted when you go abroad, and you realise how much you miss it when you come back. So yeah, it's been really good. Halfway through the season now, we've made the cup final. We've had our ups and downs. How do you think the season's gone so far?
Ups and downs is definitely the way to describe most seasons, to be honest. The good thing is I think as a team we're reacting very well to them. What I really like about our team here is that we come together like stronger, we work harder as a team, we communicate through our issues.
Name on, it's not helping at all. So if you're weak side, stay space.
We're obviously playing Leicester, which many consider to be the team of the season so far. You know, they're doing really well in the league. They've obviously made the cup final. It's obviously your old team. You know, other connections on our team is, you know, you've got the brother battle, you know, with Jordan and Patrick. What are your thoughts? What are your insights that you can probably give us as a team in terms of the finals that you've had with Leicester?
I know where they play, so that'll probably help. I'm playing. I don't know our own place.
Yeah. Not the only one.
But the experience I've had just of the BBL finals is that anyone can win on the day. Doesn't matter, you know, how prepared you are, doesn't matter who you've got on your team and, you know, the history and all of that stuff. It's about who brings it on the day. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of it, man. How do you think we match up against Leicester?
I think they base their strategy on being a very solid unit, and within that unit they've obviously got standout players, but I think their strongest point is their team. In similar ways to that we do, in terms of a lot of people can contribute in different ways. I mean, in terms of matchups and stuff, you've obviously got the big matchup at the point guard spot between Gino and Tyreek. You know, obviously Gino's got that experience on Tyreek, but I mean, Tyreek's biting at the bit against every point guard we've played so far. So I think that'll be a great matchup. And then, you know, you move further down their team into the bigs. You know, with Mo Walker and Lovin and people like that. You know, they're very dangerous players that can also win in the game on any day.
Lovin for 3, and he knocks it down.
I think the most important thing, and the thing that's going to stand out the most, is the tactics and the strategy that each team and each unit who's on the floor at one time can put together and see if they can go on runs really during the game. I think it's going to be a game of runs, and whoever has the most runs is going to win. Basically, it's going to be one of those games, and hopefully we have more than them. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Armstrong locked in, and Anderson with the flush.
What would winning feel like to you, like straight away coming off the plane and getting a nice little trophy?
I didn't come back to retire or ease my way out of the game. I was coming back here to make a difference and help the Giants win as many games and as many trophies as possible, really. Yeah. I know for the people of Manchester, they haven't had the best time in terms of our supporters and the people around Manchester following basketball. over the last 10, 15, 20 years, you know. So hopefully that will spur us on a bit more and help us get that victory that everyone wants, and I think we deserve this year so far. What's going to be your outfit when we win?
Oh, damn. What's going to be my outfit when we win? Full tracksuit, mate. I'm going out representing.
Go out representing. I think that's the best way. I'm not sure many places in Manchester that that's in, but we'll try it. We'll try it.
We'll give it a go.
We'll give it a go,
yeah. And here is the Team GB skipper. So much experience all across Europe. But how's he found his first year in the BBL, Drew?
Yeah, he's come in and he's brought that experience from playing high-level basketball, which would be great for these guys tonight. But he's a 7-footer with long range and the IQ of a point guard. Great player.
In terms of that acclimatization, when you played in different leagues across Europe and then you come back to the BBL, what do you think he's found the toughest about that?
Controlling his emotions, because the game is ref differently, and that's a concern of mine tonight. I've seen him pick up a couple of tees this season, and those guys are going to be looking at him, so if he loses his composure, then I can see it trickling down to those other guys.
What do they need from him this afternoon, Kieran?
I don't even think they need him to score per se. It's just control the game, and get stops. I think stopping Danny Nelson-Henry will be big as well.
And given the fact he's got so much experience, a player at the top of his game, and has played in such big games, he's not going to be phased at all by this occasion, is he, Fletch?
Oh, not at all. He just playing him last Friday, you can just tell just his aura of how he approaches the game. He's professional. He stretches. He doesn't need a lot of warm-up. And you can see him out here. He's smiling. He's ready to go.
I tell you, aura is a great word to describe him. We've covered him a few times this season. That is exactly what he has. Jamel Anderson, how important is that winning culture that he brings going to be important today in terms of instilling confidence that the Giants can do this amongst his teammates?
The good thing about Jamel, he doesn't need the ball to make an impact. And with finals like this and games they're going to be tough, he can set the tone defensively, and that's what he's going to do.
How important is his versatility as a player?
Oh, it's huge because he's a matchup problem. He can play 1 through 4, and you don't know how to actually guard him. So him roaming around and doing other things is going to be big for Manchester.
Dangerous player. Expect a big afternoon from him. Jordan Whelan, he's the older of the two Whelan brothers. This is a quote he gave Kieran this week to Sky Sports News. I'm the big brother, so I'm always going to say I've got one up on Patrick for sure. that's fighting talk.
That's brilliant. But what I love about Jordan Whelan is him and Will Saunders especially, when they bring that presence off the bench, they can score at a credible rate, and it really changes the dynamic of Manchester Giants.
Here is a player who absolutely loves the Sky Sports cameras. Every time we've covered him this season, he has brought it and then some. And he brought it against you as well last week, Fletch. 40 points against Newcastle. Was that one of the best individual performances you faced off against this season?
100%. He's very dynamic. He's very quick and fast. And you don't see that too often when it comes to point guards. And he's going to set the tone today. And I'm biased, so I'm pulling for him and Gino today.
He's one of those players that can go on a run as well and change the game. Josh Steele, such a consistent player, isn't he, Kieran?
Consistent, shooting the ball extremely well, but also big defensively as well. He's another player that really causes disruption to the other team.
So plenty of talent, abundant talent here on this Giants side. They're going to have a lot of self-belief, Drew. They can get it done this afternoon.
I mean, why wouldn't you? You're not here just to participate. You're here to win the game. So every guy on that roster, from the coach to the training staff to the managers, they come in with one mission only. That's to win.
Well, speaking of coach, Lloyd Gardner has taken over the reins this season and has done a pretty impressive job so far. He caught up with Drew a little bit earlier.
Coach, after a 21-year absence, what does this moment mean for the Giants organization?
I think it means a huge deal. We've spoken about this week that it's great for us to be here. We're excited. We're trying to enjoy the moment. But now we're here. Let's try and go one step further.
Besides two of your guys, this is a new experience for your team. What's been the mood in the camp this week?
I think positive, upbeat. I think some of it is guys perhaps don't know what we're stepping foot into. So it'll be interesting to see with how we deal today. Big crowd, good atmosphere. So, yeah, everybody's really pleased to be here. And like we said, for us, this is a great step. We're pleased to have gotten this far without now kind of thinking that this is job done.
And how do you plan to slow down Gino Crandell and the Riders' second-ranked offense?
Good question. Obviously, a lot of teams have tried to do that. I think for us, we've spoken all year, when you guys have been with us before, it's about defensive consistency. I think we've showed good defensive intensity, good kind of tactical awareness at times. Other times it's been really tough for us. So we've got to really lock in on what we're able to do, control our processes, each man do their job, and then hopefully that'll be enough for us today.
And in order to lift the cup, the Manchester Giants must key in on what?
Like I said, I think it's our processes right now. Obviously, Leicester are a great team. They're number one offense, number one defense. So we've got to pick our poisons. We've got to try and hope that we can slow them down. Offensively, we've been pretty consistent. So, yeah, for us, it's the defensive end. Can we keep it to a manageable number? Can we get back in defensive transition as well is probably another key.
Good luck out there tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
It's been an impressive start for him at the Manchester Giants. It's all going to plan so far. Here they are in a major final. Manchester looking to land their first silverware, of course. And the big names like Dan Clark and Jamal Anderson were brought in, Kieran, for days like this, for moments like this.
Yeah, they were brought in. Talking about it's building the culture here. They're players that can help build that culture by being demanding, but also stepping up when need to.
Hearing from Coach Gardner leads us nicely, Drew, into your key to the game, because you think this afternoon it's the coaching battle that's going to be perhaps the most critical.
Yeah, because both teams have great depth, but when you get to the finals, it's not about the 8th and 9th man. You got to figure out quickly who are the 6 and 7 guys you're going to roll with, and you got to pull the trigger. So for me, it's going to be that between the coaches who makes that adjustment the quickest.
Kieran, you've got Dan Clark versus Darian Nelson-Henry is the matchup that you think could be pivotal.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting matchup because how are you going to guard Dan? He's a pick and pop guy, can be really effective in the perimeter. So I'm wondering if Leicester maybe go a little bit smaller or do a switch defence, a couple of switches there to really throw off Dan's rhythm.
Fletch, the floor general battle is inevitably where I'm going to go with you. Gino against Tyreek Armstrong. Very different styles of players. Who do you think might have the edge this afternoon?
To be honest, I think it might be Gino. But that's no knock against Tyreek as well. But the first point guard that established their dominance and settled their team will have set their team up for better success.
It's going to be a great battle to see.
100%.
Strength in depth. Do you think one team, do you feel, has a stronger bench strength than the other?
Like I mentioned earlier, I don't think it plays that factor in this game because you don't have time for guys to try to figure it out. It's 40 minutes. Every minute is important as the next. And you will see both of these teams don't play guys over 30 minutes. And I'll see a lot of these guys exceeding that tonight.
Any of you going to be brave enough to call this one at this stage? You can wait till half time if you want to hedge your bets. Kieran, you're not.
I'm sure Whelan is going to come out victorious tonight.
It's going to be a celebration in the Whelan household, is what you said. Diplomatically put. Well, I think that answer, or lack of, sets up this game very nicely because this could be a really, really close game. Two of the BBL heavyweights going head-to-head, and as you can see, a terrific atmosphere inside the arena. Over 10,000 British basketball fans in attendance, and they are looking forward to what promises to be a thrilling BBL Cup final about to get underway too. So I'll hand over to our commentary team for the game, Ant Rowe and Dan Rowledge.
Thanks, Nat. Yes, we're very much looking forward to this as well. It's an excellent day in the calendar. Let's throw you back and to the first one you ever played. It was in this building. It was this competition. What were you feeling on the, 7-8 minutes before the start of the game, about to do team introductions before your first cup final here?
It's hard to cast my mind back that way, Dan. It was 2013 now, but what I will say is one of the greatest memories I have throughout my whole career. We were the slight underdogs going into a very dominant Newcastle Eagles team. We had that nothing to lose mentality, but it was an amazing feeling when the final buzzer went and we were the cup winners. What it did for us is it set the tone, and we went on to do the treble that year. So I think this is a team that has that caliber to do the same thing.
And Manchester, to many, are the underdogs coming into this game. I look at the roster that they have, and they have talent from 1 till 12. This is not, London against Newcastle in the WBBL where there was an obvious massive underdog. This is a very, very talented Manchester Giants team.
It is, and this is the two most deepest squads we've got in the league this year. And what I mean by that, not just the numbers of depth, but the quality of depth. Both of these clubs there can go 10 deep and be able to do it on an effective basis. but also this is 1 versus 2. If we look at league standards right now, it's first versus second. This is the big stage for the 2 biggest clubs in the league so far.
And the interesting thing is usually what you find in finals is the rotation shortens. They kind of talked about that in Prez, where actually you don't have 2-3 minutes to find it because the game can be gone by that point. And having all of that depth is great, but if they don't get on the court, it doesn't make a difference. It could be about how the starters perform and who can last if they're all playing 30 minutes.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, but what you got in finals, typically the offense drops a tad just because the defense is that 10% more intense than it typically is, just because it's win or go home. It's the fine margins. So with that, if a player catches fire early, then expect them to play extended minutes here.
Well, Manchester actually have more final experience in the BBL than Leicester coming into this game. Jamel Anderson, of course, so many finals with the Leicester Riders, and Will Saunders played in the trophy final with Drew and the Newcastle Eagles, and Ramon only won against Solent in overtime. Leicester, the only player on the roster who has been to a final before is Connor Washington.
Yeah, and we'll see how that plays out, but what I will say is that experience in the final does help. I can't explain to you why. I was a finalist in 2012, and I lost my first final here, and it wasn't until that next year I just knew it, that the intensity, the level, everything had to be up like 10-20% more. So that's the thing I would say. The players that have been here before will be able to put their imprint on that game a little bit more.
And the one thing Leicester do have in terms of organisational knowledge, the man on the sidelines, Rob Paternostro, he has been to so many finals that he's probably forgotten some of them, you know what I mean? This is his 15th appearance in a BBL final.
And he is the best coach in the league, future Hall of Famer in this league, and I like that swings the balances for me that they've got him. He's the guy that's been in this situation before on both sides of the coin as well, losing and winning, and I think he'll be the overriding planner here to tip his Riders team over the line.
Well, he will live and breathe every single play of that. You can be of no doubt. And the noise has just cranked up. The Riders fans just behind us to the right, the Manchester fans to the left. It's starting to build here.
It is indeed, and as a former player, I sit here with an ounce of jealousy, wishing I was out there, because Drew would agree with me. This today is a remarkable tournament, a great stage, and these players need to relish every single second of this. As a retired player, I can say, because these times like today don't come around too much.
Well, the two coaches meet and embrace. Here are the numbers. These two teams both know how to put the ball in the basket. Perhaps the biggest difference is the defensive end, where Leicester, #1 in the league, keeping teams down to low numbers.
Well, they say defense wins championships, and it will certainly get you a piece of silverware as well. And if the Leicester Riders implant their defensive structure on this Manchester Giants team, I feel like it could frustrate them and really really go into that productivity on offense. However, if this is a free-flowing game, Manchester Giants, they're one of the best teams you'll see in the open floor. They've got shooters out there, they've got athletic guys, and they've got a 6'11" guy who can shoot threes.
And we've talked about the 2 point guards. They lead their teams in scoring, but both teams have so many different weapons. Both have excellent 3-point shooters. Both of them have a number of guys who might end up as the most valuable player. Well, we are not too far away from tip-off here in Birmingham. It is the BBL Cup final. It is the Leicester Riders against the Manchester Giants, and tip-off will be coming right after this break. Welcome back to Birmingham. 10,000 people in attendance as Leicester and Manchester go head-to-head for the BBL Cup final. The first piece of silverware of the season on the line. And it promises to be a very, very good basketball game. The two teams are almost ready to get out onto court and tip us off. Let's have a look, shall we, at the starting lineups for the two teams for this final. And Leicester making a change to their starting lineup, going back to the starting lineup from the beginning of the season with Darian Nelson-Henry in the starting lineup. He's been coming off the bench behind Mo Walker since he got injured. Big change.
And what an addition that is as well. For me, he's the best centre in the league. 11 points, 6 rebounds a game in under 20 minutes of play. Incredibly efficient. But hey, there's still Gino Crandall. Remember him from last year?
Yeah, he was pretty good. Let's have a look at the Manchester Giants starting lineups. No surprises in this one, but Jamel Anderson going up against his old team. He's such a defensive weapon that Leicester have used over the years. It might come back to bite them today.
I've played in finals with Jamel Anderson. I've won finals with Jamel Anderson. He is a top-class teammate on and off the court. He's joined by his British counterpart in Dan Clark, who has yet to win any British basketball silverware, and that's one of his key missions of returning back to the UK.
Here we go then, Artisan and Nelson-Henry to get us underway in the cup final, and it is the Manchester Giants with the first possession. Anderson. Clark wants it, gets it. Hands it off to Armstrong. Kicked out to the corner and Steele. Artisan top of the key. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Steele for a long 2. And the first points are on the board.
Wow, really patient offense there from the Manchester Giants. They weren't passive either. They were aggressive in attacking the rim. And the early knockdown shot there will do the world of good for their confidence.
Crandall working the pick and roll with Nelson-Henry. Back to Loving. Flushed off the three-point line. Over to Whelan. Whelan driving hard, and the foul is called.
Oh, both teams doing a good job of moving the basketball, sharing the ball, but also looking to penetrate those gaps, making the defensive work hard.
Drew Lasker has joined us in commentary. Drew, what have you made of the opening minute or so?
Well, I can tell that the Manchester Giants aren't going to let Gino Crandall beat them as they're trapping him early off the traps. I just need to look for Dan Clark to have better angles because I can see him drawing fouls.
Oh, all the way to the basket. Easy finger roll for Whelan.
Oh, that's the first Whelan brother on the score sheet tonight, and that was as easy as they come, straight down the middle.
Steele, he gets himself to the basket. And you can see they were concerned about Clark in that pick and pop situation.
They were, and that's a player like Dan Clark can do. Just because he's not scoring the ball himself, what he does is he attracts the attention of the defense while his teammate Steele gets all the way to the rim.
Whelan now for 3, front iron. Great rebound from Artisan.
Well, he come and snagged that from the air, and he's a guy as well they're going to need more of today.
Armstrong, quick to the hole for the lay-in.
Well, Armstrong, as quick as they come, that first quick step there all the way to the rim.
And he's a pest in the paint, scoring 65% once he gets near the basket. Just to put that in perspective, one of the best that ever done it, Ramon Fletcher, is 57% around the basket. So he's having a great season so far.
Good hand from Clark to bat that away from Crandall. Left the ball from the side. Crandall poked loose, but saved by Nelson-Henry. Thrown away, though, to Anderson. Numbers here. Steele's out of court. 4-on-2 fast break. They turn it over.
That's one of those ones where you've got to, you'll look back at that on the videotape and want to be sick because they had the numbers there. They had the advantage of a good anticipation steal there from Jamel Anderson. However, the good news is this Manchester Giants team defensive end looks like they're up for the challenge.
Here's Nelson-Henry. Anderson threatening the double. Nelson-Henry spinning baseline. Throws it away. Another steal for the Giants. Artisan almost loses the ball. Does in fact turn it over. Crandall splits through the defenders. Out to Loving. Flushed off the three-point line, knocks down the mid-range.
Wow, such a fast start to this game, and both defenses getting out to the shooters, not allowing any easy open shots, and Mark Lovin as smooth as they come with that pull-up jump shot.
And we talked at the top about how difficult it is to shoot in this environment, but it doesn't look like these teams are having trouble early.
Clark certainly isn't, as he sneaks into the corner to string a three.
Well, I can certainly hear you on court, Drew, because Dan Clark, effortless three-point shot there.
Jackson. Ooh, Nelson Henry trying to reply with three of his own. He doesn't shoot too many.
And that's the disadvantage for Nelson Henry in that matchup there. He's not typically accustomed to guarding guys out there like Dan Clark, who've got that size and can shoot the three.
And if you're the Manchester Giants, you'll live with Darren Nelson Henry shooting that all night long.
Early substitution for the Giants as Lewis comes in for Artisan. Well, Leicester lining up as if it's an end-line ball, but it is two shots for Armstrong.
Who's had a very positive start to this game. Look, we're only 3 minutes in here, but you know, Tariq Armstrong is one of those guys that you know when he's got that intent. You know, there was a Sky Sports game earlier this year where he had like 10 steals and he completely controlled the whole game, and he's kind of got that look in his eyes again here today, and he knows he's going against Gino Crandall, arguably the best point guard in the league.
1 of 2 from the free throw line. 10-4 the Giants lead early on here. Loving the three. Strings it.
That was so difficult to stop. It was a simple screen there, but instead of rolling to the basket, he just fades out to the three-point shot, and Mark Lovin will knock that down all day.
And I'm looking at his body composure, and he just looks so calm.
Steele driving in and finishing at the rim.
What a start Josh Steele's had as well. 6 points personal for him, 3 for 3, and he's looked extremely aggressive.
Crandall gets all the way to the rim, and he will shoot two as he stumbles his way over the basket.
That's the advantage that Gino Crandall has there. He's got a good 4 or 5 inches on Tariq Armstrong, and he's got that long extended range as well, which is going to be really difficult for Tariq Armstrong to hang with him down low. But however, for the foot speed, you know, you'd switch the advantage to Armstrong's favor. But you know, basketball is one of those sports. Size helps, and in scenarios like that, it's helped Gino Crandall.
Well, Will Saunders into the final for the first time for Manchester, replacing Anderson.
In games like this is where legacies are written. And for me, Gino Crandall, who's been the league MVP, who's won a lot of games, but if he wants to start writing his legacy in history, he must come out with MVP tonight, in my opinion.
This clock driving hard, hooks it up, off the mark, rebound by Whelan, has Jackson ahead. Jackson spins, floats one. Nelson Henry trying to keep it alive for Leicester, but can't.
Giants did a good job of getting back in transition there, and the first shot wasn't able to convert by Zach Jackson, but Giants got bodies back and were able to recover the ball.
Saunders running around the screens. Back to Armstrong. Armstrong behind the back. Clark for another three. Dan Clark! Second three of the game!
Goodness me. Great pass initially, behind the back pass by Armstrong. He knew where his teammate was, and Dan Clark doesn't need a lot of space or time to get that off.
Nice pass. Nelson Henry has to kick it back out though. Pass deflected. Crandall with 5 on the shot clock. Looking to go to work. Loses the handle. Thrown forward to Armstrong. Tipped by Jackson. Great hustle back.
Really good hustle from Zach Jackson. And this is what I say about game of margins. The play before that, Tariq Armstrong actually deflects the pass, which knocks it away from Gino Crandall, makes the whole offense a little bit trickier. And on that play there, that's a basket-saving play. You know, if Zach Jackson doesn't get back here and tip that ball, it's an easy layup for Tariq Armstrong.
Mo Walker into the game for the first time for Leicester. Armstrong fires up the three, back iron, rebound comes to Steele. Artisan's going to let fly, and Artisan is going to hit another three-pointer for the Giants.
Well, we say it's contagious, isn't it? One guy gets going, the rest follow.
And it's crucial that first three by Josh Steele has given these guys confidence to let it fly.
3 or 4 from behind the arc, Manchester. Loving. Back to Whelan. Crandall tips it on to Jackson. Jackson misses. Lewis with the rebound.
Another good defensive set by the Giants.
Giants looking for a double-figure lead here. Saunders, long 2. And that will go... Oh, it didn't go out of bounds. Collision, but Crandall is out and running. And he's fouled by Lewis in transition.
And speaking of the Manchester Giants defense, it's been lacking since league play. But tonight, they look like the Giants of old in cup play, really scrambling, getting to the next man up, hands up on jump shots, making the Leicester Riders offense look very average tonight.
Well, that was an area I was concerned at for this Giants team. Is their defensive end. Can they stop Leicester Riders, who average 90 points a game on the defensive end? And look, it's a lot of game to go here, but I like the attitude and the intent at the start of this game. You know, they're committing themselves to defense, and they're making things happen on the other end of the floor as a result of their defense.
Just an issue with the shot clock, because they've reset it to 24. The fouls in the front court, which would normally be 14, but obviously Leicester hadn't got to 14 from when they gained possession, so they're going to tick it to 23, so they only had it for a second.
And I see that Gino Crandall with both hands on his knees. You don't realize of how much your energy gets zapped in this environment.
Into Walker. Hands it off to Whelan, looking to attack, no way through. Hudson, fresh into the game, brings it forward. Clark looking to back down to the hook, that's short. Whelan with the rebound.
It's good defense there by Mo Walker. Dan Clark isn't someone who can move Mo Walker, because Mo Walker is equal in weight there.
Nice drive from Mark Loving.
And as you say, Drews, as smooth as they come, he's a guy that I think you'd want in those high-pressure situations.
And he's definitely come to play tonight.
In Steele. Round the screen from Clark. Kicks across. Saunders for 3. Knows it's short, goes chasing after it, didn't get there. Crandall almost loses the ball in trying to get it back. Will Saunders commits the foul.
Wow. Well, it wasn't the cleanest of recoveries there from Gino Crandall, but his reflexes are unbelievable here. And Will Saunders, unfortunate position of having that ball just there, but not quite close enough where he can steal it.
Crandall sits down. McKenzie is in. So too Adekoya for Leicester.
McKenzie, someone who's forced his way into this rotation. He's earned himself more minutes here, and Coach Panostro's certainly put more trust in him.
There's Walker. Back out to Whelan. Resets to Walker. Backing down Clark. Double team comes off Whelan. That means he's open for 3, but he can't knock it down.
Good inside-outside there, but the pass wasn't quite good enough for the shooter there. The shooter had to reach quite high to bring that ball in and then pocket and load it for the shot.
Good offensive rebound from Clark, but he blows the layup. Loving. Round to McKenzie. Down to Walker, and he lays it in.
Wow, that's a good play there. Well, Walker will take up so much space in the middle there, and McKenzie, phenomenal find there.
And you hear the Leicester Riders coaches after every miss telling them to run, get up the court, because it's valuable to get cheap early baskets playing in an environment like this.
Hudson looking along the baseline. No way to go with Whelan playing the defense. And Hudson with the foul.
Couple trips here that the Giants look a little bit frustrated. Picking up some fouls, and as we know, basketball is a game of momentum, and you can see Leicester Riders slowly chipping away and getting into this lead.
Also the 5th team foul, so it will be 2 free throws for Patrick Whelan.
And for me, that's why my keys of the game were the battle of the coaches. As you see the Giants going really deep into their roster, you know, in finals, it's about figuring out those 6 or 7 guys. You mentioned, Dan, you don't have time to wait for guys to settle in. So if I'm Coach Gardner, I'm bringing Tariq Armstrong back in this game ASAP.
Well, he has tried to get a lot of the roster in so far, Coach Gardner. Leicester have been a bit longer with the starters, if you like, although they have rotated a little bit. Here's Whelan, trying to hand it over to Anderson. Anderson almost loses it. It's stolen by Walker, but there's a whistle on the play. And it's on Whelan, number 12.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot in there. But look, I think Riders going to have to reset defense here, but the attitude and the intensity is definitely increased or improved, excuse me, on the Leicester Riders, and that is an encouraging sign.
Oh, thrown away by Clark. Adekoya has it. It's knocked loose. Leicester still under possession. Walker has Anderson on him. Can't get the ball. McKenzie. McKenzie mid-range. Rims out. Armstrong driving his way to the basket and getting the foul. I think it's McKenzie whose number is going to be shown.
You called it early, Drew. I think you've made a very valid point there. Tariq Armstrong, for me, has to stay in the game for as long as possible. I think he's the guy right now that you'd want to ride the wave off him, because you can just tell, though, his body language, the way he's approached this game, he's someone who's focused and can do an amounts of damage to this Riders team.
Well, you can just tell the difference on the ball screen actions when Tariq and Dan Clark, as opposed to when Josh Steele tried to come off the ball screen earlier. Leicester Riders has a huge decision to make when it's Tariq. Do you stop him from getting to the rim and leave Dan Clark open, or do you take Dan Clark away and leave them without a rim protector for him to get all the way to the basket?
What's option C?
Hope for the best.
Manchester with some full court pressure. Cross court to Loving. Trying to get it to Walker, but the boot of Dan Clark was in the way.
You can tell we're in Britain. There's been a lot of those back heels, little kick balls, you know, were brought up on the football pitch.
Here's Walker. Double team comes from Artisan. Adekoya takes the mid-range. Rims out. We've had a couple of those Leicester. Here's Armstrong. Out to Whelan. And a bit of Whelan on Whelan action there.
And Dan, you mentioned 2 rim outs by McKenzie and then Adekoya. Why? Because you're playing with a brand new basketball. You look at the rims, they're nice and shiny. The depth perception. You don't understand how difficult it is to play in this environment when you don't get an opportunity to play in it regularly.
Second personal foul on Patrick Whelan, so Connor Washington, the one player on the Leicester roster with final experience, gets his first taste of the 2022 version. 13 seconds on the clock.
He's a guy who's not afraid to make a big shot here and there as well.
Armstrong. Back to Clark. Good work from Adekoya to prevent the 3. Clark driving through. And that will be, couldn't see which way the referee pointed. It's a Leicester ball with 0.6 of a second.
And that's a great call right there as Dan tries to get to the basket, but credit goes to Adekoya, who took away that open 3.
Well, Leicester tried something ambitious there. It didn't come off. The Manchester Giants certainly started this game the better. They built an early 9-point lead, but Leicester are slowly reeling them back in. We're at the end of the first quarter in the cup final. It's the Leicester Riders 15 and the Manchester Giants 20. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Birmingham. Manchester have a 5-point lead here in the cup final. Leicester have possession of the ball for the first offense of the second quarter. And that's a kick ball. We've had a substitution in the commentary box. We've upgraded at the point guard position to bring Ramon Fletcher in. Ramon, what have you made of the first quarter so far?
I like the way Manchester came out and played. They established their defensive identity early, put some pressure on everybody, and I think that was huge, especially in the cup final.
Well, Leicester getting to the basket, but not able to score. Whelan leaves that a little short.
Well, Whelan's been aggressive since he's entered the court and wasn't able to get it to go there, but he's not settling for the shot. He's looking to get something in and around the rim.
And that's something that's very important for George, establishing pressure on the rim. That's something that he doesn't normally do, so if he's on, that's big for him.
Well, Mo Walker, not really a mid-range shooter, more of a back to the basket underneath sort of guy. Here's Whelan. He misses. Early shot there. Crandall hooks it over to Adekoya. Backing down Anderson. Oh, nice step under from Jabril Adekoya.
We've seen that time and time again. Jabril Adekoya can score in a number of ways, and he's someone who's patient as well. He doesn't necessarily need to force his shot up, but nice pump fake and step through there.
I feel he's going to be an X factor for this game, especially with Nelson Henry and Mo. I think that'll be big for Leicester.
Long two from Clark is off the mark.
Riders got fortunate that he didn't locate Dan Clark quick enough, but wasn't able to knock it down.
Crandall getting all the way to the basket. Not even sure how he got the shot away there through that contact.
Just the craftiness there, using those little areas of gaps and getting the defense to commit the foul.
I've seen that time and time again, and I'm very impressed every time I see it.
Well, he's got a chance to cut this to a 1-point game from the free throw line.
And I'm sure he says the same about you, Fletcher.
I don't know. I don't know if he says it that nice.
Leicester a perfect 5 for 5 from the free throw line so far.
I mean, you've been here and done this multiple times. I mean, this is a special day.
Yeah, it's different being on this side, you know, the fun side, not the work side, you know?
Here's Armstrong. Kicked out. Lots of room for Artisan for three. Misses. Walker with the rebound. Washington waits. Jackson puts it on the floor, floats it up, and for two, ties the game at 20.
He's so good at that. He's got such a difficult shot, that high arcing floater, but he does it over and over again.
That's one of Leicester's strong suit. Whenever they make a substitute, there's no drop. It's just like a well-oiled machine.
Steele for three, too long. Jackson with the rebound.
This is the worry here for Giants. Their offense has dried up a little bit.
Crandall misses the three. Good outlet. Here's Anderson running the floor, and Leicester know all about that.
Goodness me, and that's your center throwing that quarterback pass there to the ever-running Jamel Anderson for the finish.
I'm sure that's big on Leicester's scouting report, looking at Jamel leak out like that.
Nice pass. Walker hard to the hole, and he scores, and he ties the game at 22. And the players didn't hear the horn; it got a bit loud. But Lloyd Gardner had called a timeout for the Manchester Giants, so they will talk things over. We are level at 22 points apiece, but it's the Leicester fans we can hear behind us right now.
And that's a really dangerous two-man combo there. Gino Crandall coming off that screen in that hard 6'10", big, strong Mo Walker underneath there, finishing the play.
It's very, very fortunate when you have a big guy that rolls like Mo does, and Nelson Henry as well, because if you give it to them, they have to seek in, and they can just kick it out for open threes, and that's what Gino does very well.
And the interesting thing with those two centers is they're two very different players. So if you're guarding against them and suddenly Mo Walker sits down and Darren Nelson-Henry comes in, you've got a totally different problem.
100%. And that's the thing about Leicester as well. I know I keep talking about Leicester, but they don't have that drop. They just never have that drop. And they don't have that lineup that comes in like, okay, we can attack this lineup, you know?
Oh. Leicester making their way back out onto court. Lloyd Gardner using his full minute here, maybe a couple of extra seconds. His team led by as many as 9 in the early going of this contest. We are level at 22 right now.
Well, the Giants team got to 18 pretty quick, didn't they? It was, the offense was flowing, they looked really comfortable, and then they were kind of stuck on 18-20 for a substantial period of that game, and they weren't able to get stops, and hence why we're at 22 apiece now.
Leicester showing a bit of full court pressure. Will that get over Adekoya? No, it won't. Oh, that pass a bit in front of Crandall. He's able to chase it down, though. Walker backs down to the hook. Tip doesn't quite go. Somebody pulled the net there. That's what Rob Paternoster is asking for. Let's have a look. He did. It's Anderson pulled the net. That should have been a goaltend. They missed it, though. There was a foul afterwards on Leicester. The referees are talking it over as to what the outcome should be here. The foul is on Walker. Well, you can understand why Rob Paternoster is not happy with that, because as a defensive player, you're not allowed to pull the net, and therefore it's a goaltend.
I expect Armstrong for these next couple of minutes to really establish his game right now.
Here he comes to get the ball. Along the baseline. Good defense from Washington, but still a good pass. Anderson able to pull in the rebound. Lewis can't convert. Rebound Walker. Crandall dancing. He's on the floor. He's still going. How's he still got the ball? Crandall gets the shot away. It doesn't go.
Wow. The ability to keep that dribble alive.
That's an offensive foul. Washington getting in the right place and Armstrong spinning into him.
And that's experience with Connor.
Well, he's done this time and time again, and I remember him taking some huge charges in the 2014 Cup final way back when, and he's still doing it to this day. And Tariq Armstrong got to feel a little hard done by there. He didn't have much room to move after catching that basketball.
You can see from that Crandall wanted a foul after all of that. Here he is at the elbow, and he knocks it down, and for the first time today, the Leicester Riders are in the lead.
Oh, nice looking pull-up jump shot from Gino Crandall, and Tariq Armstrong bringing the ball up now with 2 fouls.
Blocked by Gino Crandall.
Wow.
Nelson Henry trying to feed it down to Adekoya, and now Coach Gardner wanting presumably a goaltend. I thought Crandall got there first, but let's have another look. It's whether it hits the backboard before Crandall gets there. I don't think it does. He deflected on. Washington knocks down the 3 for Leicester.
And there's that BBL Cup final experience. Connor Washington came into this game. He doesn't need time to get comfortable. He's just started from the very first second he stepped on court.
Clark slips, and Manchester turn it over. Leicester with all the momentum right now. Jackson drives hard, scores, and 1 for Zach Jackson, and Leicester have their tails up right now.
And this is a really important part of the game here for the Giants. They have to find composure here. They have to ride out Leicester's adversity, because if they can't, this Leicester Riders team will keep stamping on them while they're down.
Good timeout by Lloyd Gardner. It's one of them where he's only called a timeout a couple of minutes ago. He's thinking there's 5.5 to go. I might want to save it, but the Leicester fans are up. The team is up. You need to stop that momentum.
It's definitely an automatic timeout you should call, especially with this Leicester team. They can go take this 7-point lead up to 15, 16 very fast.
Well, they certainly have raced away here. If you think it was 22-22 a few moments ago, and suddenly Leicester have a 7, potentially 8-point lead if they can make a free throw coming out of this timeout.
It's sort of the offensive struggles of, for whatever reason, they've influenced the Manchester Giants' ability to make things difficult for the Leicester Riders on their other end of the floor. The Giants started this game good intent on the defensive end, good energy, but that dipped as is with their ability to score the basketball. So you never want to be poor on both ends of the floor, but Giants have to find a way here so that one end of the floor doesn't negatively impact the other.
Well, Leicester have outscored them 14 points to 2 in this second quarter. And if this free throw goes in, it will be 10 consecutive points for the Riders. Giants making their way back out onto court with Saunders and Armstrong and Steele and Clark and Lewis.
Those plays, though, we'll look back and yes, we'll appreciate the highlights of the block shot there from Gino Crandall, but you see the positive effect it has on for his team. You know, the momentum, the confidence, it's contagious. It's something that's intangible. You can't really explain, but it's just it's a momentum pusher.
100%. And it looks like Manchester has put their shooting lineup in to try to get this game back.
Well, Leicester lead by 7. Leicester have gone zone here, have they? You've got to know where Clark is. No, this. Well, it's confusing me if it's not confusing the Giants. Steele looks up at the clock. 5 left on it. Mismatch for Lewis, and he's able to take. That's a goaltend. That one definitely is a goaltend.
Really good response out of that timeout. That's one of those plays where Manchester have to score, and they did that. Lewis making a tough move to the rim. I don't know if that was going to go in if he didn't touch the net.
I was just thinking that.
I think it would have. Here's Crandall, back to the basket. To the turnaround fall away, off the glass!
That's tough, and that's good defense from Armstrong, who's on 2 fouls. That's all you can do there, and Gino Crandall just making a better play.
It's a foul on Clark, moving screen. Watch him just sort of go with him, hits him on the side. His first foul, he will sit down. Loving, who's just come in for Leicester, gets the ball. Crandall at the free throw line, and he knocks down another shot. He's heating up.
Well, he's taking over this game, and he's looking like a MVP candidate pretty early on.
Armstrong will go to the line for 2. Foul is on Connor Washington.
Speaking of MVP candidates, Tariq Armstrong has been that guy for Manchester so far. And, you know, you'll look back at this game as well, and he's distributed the ball to guys like Artisan and Lewis, giving them open shots that his teammates just weren't able to knock them down, but he's been finding his teammates as well in good situations to score the ball.
This Manchester team is going to go only as far as Armstrong goes, so he really needs to establish that dominance probably about now.
Well, 4 of his 6 points so far have been from the free throw line. Make that 5 of 7. Crandall. Oh, good hands from Steele. He knocked that away. So Crandall is able to keep going with that and get all the way to the rim.
Sometimes when you do enough good things, luck's on your side, and that's a prime example of that situation. The deflection falls kindly back to Gino Crandall, but he makes the most of it and gets Lewis to commit the foul.
Foul number 3 on Lewis. Crandall off the mark from the free throw line. I always think in the final that's the hardest thing, because this is a sort of odd building shooting wise. I always think the free throws are the hardest bit. And he's missed them both. You don't get long either before the game to warm up. They practiced here yesterday, but both teams.
But it's different when fans are on.
Yeah. Armstrong for 3, back high, and Lewis might get the rebound. He does it the second attempt. Here's Artisan, he's going to let it fly. Crandall goes up high for it.
2 good looks there for the Giants. They just got to knock it down, but I like their energy. Lewis has come on court, and a couple offensive rebounds for him. Second chance opportunities.
Loving with the step back. Short on the 3. Armstrong back out to Lewis. He's going to try his luck from 3-point range. Tipped down, but only as far as Lewis. Ooh, Armstrong just grabbed that. Here's space for Anderson. Armstrong with 5 on the shot clock. Lewis gets it away. Giants just can't put the ball in the basket at the minute.
Jump shot after jump shot. They've got to get something going to the rim, whether that's penetration and kick or penetration and finish up the rim.
It's been a couple of minutes since they've scored from open play. And that pass is behind Anderson, but Jackson just couldn't quite stay in play. Boso into the game for the first time. Lewis, who has 3 fouls, sits down. Anderson leaves it short. Crandall kicks it out to Loving. Loving drives hard and he's fouled by Artisan.
Yeah, good reaction there from the Riders. As soon as they had possession of the ball, they were out to the races, and Artisan had to put in a hard foul there just to stop the play.
Well, Leicester made the first 5 free throws. They missed the last 4. Well, they trailed by 9. They now lead by 9, Rob Paternostro's team. Oh, that pass not going to get there, is it? And that went out of bounds on Warrington, and it's a Leicester ball.
Those are the turnovers Manchester can't give Leicester, because that's momentum. You lose a possession, you don't get a shot up. That's something that you just can't do.
9th turnover of the game as well for Giants. Again, you've got to play a near perfect game to beat a Riders team on this stage.
Well, Leicester already have 6 points from those turnovers. Jackson. Strong to the hole off the glass.
Wow. Zach Jackson's so good at that, just attacking the rim with his high floater shots there.
22 points to 6 in this quarter. Armstrong. Back out. Saunders for 3. Rims out. Tipped out, but only as far as Jackson. And that's going to be an unsportsmanlike foul on Will Saunders. Referees might have a word on that.
Jamal Anderson wasn't the last man unsportsmanlike type of foul, was it? I mean, Jamal Anderson was back.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The problem is there's 2 or 3 different ways you can call that an unsportsmanlike foul. I
don't like it.
I think it's a bit harsh. I think that one's a bit harsh.
And he got his hand on the ball, so it's kind of a tough call.
The problem is the way the rule is, anything in transition, they're looking at an unsportsmanlike. That's how it's written. So Leicester by 12 with possession of the ball. Crandall at the free throw line. Knocks it down. Gino Crandall into double figures with 11.
Everything is just going down for him now. Off the dribble, pull-up jump shots. Giants are in trouble if this stuff carries on.
They need a big minute here at Manchester. Oh, Clark, I thought was open there, but he didn't look at the basket. Good strength, but can't convert. Loving, I think, got a little piece of that. Jackson trying to drop it off to Nelson Henry. It was deflected away for Leicester. Here's another look. Does Loving get a piece of that? No, I don't think he did. I think it just hit the backboard in the ring. Crandall against Anderson. I'm sure they will have gone head-to-head in practice. And Crandall steps underneath. Crandall wins that battle with the and-one.
Wow, that's mano a mano. One of the best on-ball defenders in the league against one of the more talented offensive players. And Gino Crandall comes out on top on that occasion. Great move.
Are you not entertained?
13 points personal for Gino Crandall, who's clearly feeling it right now.
4 assists and 3 rebounds as well. Pablo Vazquez, the assistant coach of the Riders. He's enjoying life at the minute. And why not? His Riders team lead 43-26 here in the cup final. Armstrong looking to attack. It's all the way to the rim. And that's good for 2.
That's so tough. It was with a bump as well. He's still able to finish with that strong left hand.
If he can get that going, he can get this Manchester team back in the game, but he has to be aggressive.
Crandall to Washington. Back to Crandall. Pass is deflected away by Hodgson, but he travelled with it. He went over the top before he dribbled.
It's unfortunate there. Lucky with a deflector, and then they're out to the races. But again, sometimes it's one of those things. If the ball's in your hand, you just want to get rid of it. Give it to a guard.
9.6 seconds to go in the first half. Leicester with possession from the side. Crandall, who's certainly dominated this second quarter. For a long three off the mark. Nelson Henry saves it, gets it away, and strikes it on the buzzer. What a quarter for the Leicester Riders. They have blown this game open, and they have scored 30 points in the second period to lead 45-28 at the break.
My biggest worry for this Giants team coming in was the defense, and it was a complete and utter collapse there in that second period. Partly due to their defensive structure breaking down, but more due to just the prowess of the Leicester Riders on offense. Absolutely incredible.
Well, you think early on Manchester were making the three-pointers, but they dried up after that. But Leicester have been going inside, throwing it down the face. 15 made twos versus 7 made twos. Forget the percentages, just the volume of it.
Yeah, as you can see, the assists as well. 10 assists for Leicester, 6 for Manchester. That means they're not getting pressure on the rim for the kickouts, and I think that's going to be a key that Gardner should approach at halftime.
Well, Leicester leading by 45 points to 28. Let's get some reaction. Mark Loving is with Drew.
Hey, Mark, you're down double digits early. You go into the half with a 17-point lead. How were you able to weather the storm?
They came out with a lot of energy. We're a resilient team. We know it's a game of runs, and we fought the first punch, took it, and gave them a run of our own.
And you held the Giants to 8 points there in the second quarter. What was said to you guys there in the huddle?
We had to pick up our sense of urgency. Like you said, we held them to 8 points. That's fantastic for a defensive quarter, and we're looking forward to trying to implement more of that in the second half.
And a sold-out crowd here, and the Rider fans are out here in droves. What role have they played here for you guys as I see you pumping your fists to the crowd?
The Leicester fans are fantastic. Like you said, they showed up tonight, and we try to give them the best show that we can possibly can.
Good luck to you in the second half.
Thank you.
Well, it's certainly been a pretty good start to that show so far for the Leicester Riders. The Giants got off to a solid beginning, but it was all Leicester second quarter. And look at that big halftime lead. Analysis next. Welcome back to Birmingham, half-time of the BBL Cup final. The Giants started so brightly. Dan Clark getting in on the action early, and it was a solid first quarter for Manchester, but all Leicester in the second quarter. 30 points offensively. They held Manchester to just 8 points in the second quarter, and it means the Riders take a 17-point lead into the locker room at half-time. And if you look at the numbers, Kieran, Achara, well, it plays out because the Manchester Giants, particularly from the three-point range, started so brightly, but here we are ending the half shooting just 25% for the perimeter.
Yeah, they started so brightly, 3 of 5 in that first quarter, and then 0 of 7. Leicester really ramped up the defence and caused Manchester Giants a lot of problems.
The Manchester scoring on point to begin with, fading away. And when you think about it, Mike Tuck, a 5-point lead at the end of quarter one, they're now in the locker room 19 points behind. They're going to feel a little bit shell-shocked as to how that half played out.
Yeah, I think they started the game out really well. Very aggressive, moving the ball around, carrying the ball. A few guys were getting hot. Second quarter, they kind of went away from what was working. Shot selection wasn't there. And then the Leicester Riders turned it on. Gino Crandall showed up. 30 points in a quarter is very impressive. 8 points in a quarter, not so much. They need to find some better scoring offense.
What did Leicester change up offensively quarter on quarter? Is the simple answer Gino Crandall turned up?
Well, I think they ramped up their defence, which then turned into quick offence. So for a way, they were taking away the three-point shot, being really super aggressive. That it was forcing Manchester Giants into bad shots, therefore got away on that break.
Yeah, because the wrong shot selections from Manchester, again, quarter on quarter. You think that was Leicester defensively forcing their hand there?
I think so. I think that Leicester started a little bit timid defensively, but they completely ramped it up in that second quarter.
It started so well for Manchester too, in particular for Josh Steele, who was absolutely everywhere. Seemed to be involved with everything, Kieran, early on.
Yeah, he's a player that we all know. Like I said, he's Mr. Dependable starting all these games, but that was a big shot. Got his confidence going, got his couple of looks. But again, going back to the whole Leicester, as soon as he started making those shots, they completely cramped him up, and that he didn't get any shots off in that second quarter.
Seemed very composed, didn't they, Manchester early on? We weren't worried about the occasion because they've got so many big name players in there, but nevertheless they seem to start much more calmly than Leicester.
Yeah, I think they were just confident, and I think they're hungry going into it. And when you see that first couple shots go in, it builds on that. You're in a big arena, everybody's really stepping up. Now, unfortunately, Leicester made a lot of adjustments in that second quarter, and they were the team that really stepped up.
One or two composed performances early on for Leicester, including Mark Loving. Mike, last time we covered him, just before Christmas on Sky Sports, you mentioned how tough a player he is to guard.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Loving, what a player in this league. He's silky smooth. Went 3 for 3 for his first 3 shots in the game, and he's the one who really kind of kept them in it in that first quarter. But extremely hard to guard. Very slim and easy to get to the basket and finish over people.
Prototypical stretch four, isn't he? Really stepping up. Tyreek Armstrong, brilliant performance from him. A real live wire, isn't he? Such an exciting player to watch, Kieran. Every time he's on Sky Sports, he seems to step up, loves the big occasion.
He just knows how to bring it. But, he's impressed me game by game. He's improved. But he's starting to get players involved. That great pass there, he's seen the players, he can attack and get other people involved, and that's what makes him a great point guard.
What do you think of the battle between him and Gino Crandall, and particularly the physical advantage that Gino has over him that Ramon mentioned at the top of the show?
Yeah, I mean, Gino's he's a taller guard. He's got really long arms. So he's got that ability to guard you on your shot, be able to pick your pocket. I think Tyreek is maybe a little bit quicker, but that's tough to say against Gino because he's a very fast player as well. But he's got to start looking for his chances to take downhill attacks against Gino, maybe get him into a little bit of foul trouble.
Do you get the sense that if Manchester are going to get back into this, it's all going to run through Tyreek Armstrong?
It's going to go through Tyreek Armstrong, but more importantly, their defence. They really have to ramp up their defence. I always say that Leicester got off to a bad start, but they only gave up 20 points. When they had no offence from Manchester Giants, they gave up 30. So they're going to really have to hit home on their defensive presence.
Dan Clark certainly helped to do that in the first half. 7 defensive boards, contributing offensively as well, Kieran.
Yeah, I talked about this matchup. I think for Danny Nelson-Henry, guarding someone out in the perimeter like that could be very, very demanding. He did a great job in Dan inside the paint, but Dan give him a second. That shot's going up. It's great, you know, and he's really good at that. Defensively, same thing. He's making a presence, getting the blocks, making sure that he's there for his teammate, and we need more of that from Dan in the second half. And here, again, being a distributor.
What a pass.
Rebound, unbelievable pass, quarterback type pass, you know, for an easy score. Get more of that, they can get back into this game.
Okay, we're going to end last but by no means least with Gino Crandall. I think it's fair to say he's warming up, Mike.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that second quarter for him. First was a little bit quiet. Second quarter, I mean, you look at this sequence. Gee, it's just a shame he wasn't able to make the shot, but I think this was the play that really spurred him on, and after this, we saw Gino really, really turn it on, and this is what Gino does, you know. His mid-range game is unbelievable. He can attack you from so many ways. Look at that defensive end playing above the rim. And here on the block here, you know, you got Tyreke Evans, smaller guard on you, turnaround fadeaway. I mean, unbelievable. And then on this play as well, Jamel Anderson, one of the best defenders in this league, drawing the foul and one. Those shots are like daggers. He's got the whole gladiator thing. Are you not entertained right there?
It's a great point you make, though. I really feel that play served as the catalyst. Just his performance just ignited after that, didn't it?
Well, it was like the ball's on a string. He knows what he can do with that ball. But I love what he's doing. He's going into the post as well against the smaller Armstrong. You know, he's got that mismatch down low. He's got a really nice mid-range jump shot. So he's playing to his strengths at this moment in time, and that's what's making him so successful.
Never going to be able to keep him totally quiet, but how should Manchester go about at least trying to keep him in some type of vague check in the second half?
I always say there's two easy ways, you know. Get him riled up, you know, but we talk about his mental strength. He's been working on that. Or get him in foul trouble. That's how you're going to stop Gino. Get him into foul trouble. It's the only way. And Armstrong has the ability to do it with his speed.
They've got to find a way to stop Gino Crandall because he has been superb, particularly in the second quarter of the game. And he is one of the key reasons why the Riders take a significant lead into the half. But as Manchester have shown us, plenty of big game players in their locker room. This one is far from over. The second half is coming next. The big ask for Manchester. 17-point lead, almost made it 19. 17-point lead for the Riders. The Giants will want a similar start to the second half as the one they had to the first half. They got the firepower to do it. Let's see if they can bring this back. Second half about to get underway, so we'll get back to Drew and Dan.
Thank you very much, Nat. 8 points in that second quarter, the lowest in a cup final, overtaking the Rocks 9 in 2007 against Guildford. That's not a record that you want to break.
What I always automatically think when you say Glasgow Rocks and record, it'll be Kieran Achara involved.
Before his... Oh, that's going to be a backcourt. Well, no, in fact, Crandall's going to steal it, and Crandall's going to lay it in. What a disastrous start for the Giants.
A disastrous finish to the half and a disastrous start to the second half there, and Giants have to figure out a way here to push through this adversity and change the fortune of the game.
Stolen away, 2 turnovers inside the first 20 seconds by Manchester.
And that's what I'm looking at. What are the adjustments at halftime? What's the plan B? Obviously, Giants like to shoot from the outside, but how can they get the ball inside and get easy buckets?
Nelson Henry leaves it short. By the way, the team efficiency in the first half, 54 to 29, which shows you the difference between the two teams. Steele at the top of the key, off the mark. Loving with the rebound.
Josh Steele started this game off very well. They'll be looking to reignite some of his energy on the offensive end.
Crandall. The fall away, high arc off the mark. Dan Clark pulls in his 9th defensive rebound of the game. Here's Artisan in the corner for 3. They needed that.
That's good push and good penetration there from Tyreek Armstrong to get his teammate Arzan the open shot in the corner. Knocks it down.
Well, you know Armstrong is going to create those open opportunities. It's just down to these guys knocking them down.
Whelan for 3 off the mark. Broken up by Whelan. Here's Loving. Stolen away by Clark.
Good hands from Clark there.
Artisan is fouled, and that's off the rim, so it'll be 2 free throws. I just mentioned it. Dan Clark with 9 defensive rebounds. Anybody know the cup final record for defensive rebounds?
Matter of fact, I do.
Do you?
Yeah. It's 12 with a guy called Anthony Rowe.
Really? I didn't know that.
Is that right? Dan, I think you set that up.
I think he set that up.
Because everyone's always watched the defensive record, the defensive rebound record in the final, you know?
That's why there are 10,000 people here today. Just to see if Rowe's record goes. That's the big thing. Somebody sub Clark out of the game so he doesn't break Rowe's record.
He looks tired to me. I'd save him for the rest of the season. You know, it's a long season.
You know he's hoping for it.
Robertson makes both. Manchester, after a shaky start, have started to right the ship a little bit here in the third quarter with 5 consecutive points. Crandall moves it on to Whelan for 3. Rebound by Nelson Henry. Loving. Back to Crandall. Nelson Henry. Jackson with the runner. Knocks it down.
And the last thing you want to give this juggernaut of an offense another opportunity to get a look as Zach Jackson comes in with that beautiful run.
Good hands, but Artisan comes up with it. Challenged by Crandall at the second attempt, he's able to score.
Wow, that's an excellent challenge from Gino Crandall. Protecting the rim, that's your point guard. But Gino Arzan, great activity there to stay with it and put it back.
Crandall no way through. And he hits the deck hard as Clark gets the block.
Dan Clark doing a little bit of rim protecting himself there. Gino trying to push it down the other end of the floor, and Dan Clark, good block.
And Dan Clark is an underrated shot blocker because he doesn't do it with athleticism and do it with flash. He does it with smarts, body position, and length.
Crandall is fouled by Anderson, will shoot 2.
Again, it's just that ability to get something out of nothing there. Constantly attacking there, making the referee blow the whistle, and possibly Jamal Anderson. Hard done by there, but Gino Crandall is so good at going to the rim.
And Coach Gardner was asked pre-game, how do you slow down Gino Crandall? And it looks like he's still trying to look for answers.
Well, he's struggled a bit from the line today. He's missed 4.
So wrap him up every time.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just...
Clark. Artisan for 3. Front rim. Crandall still going to the finger roll, trying to jam it in. Must have hit a Manchester player on the way out because it's a Leicester ball.
Again, it was a good push from Gino Crandall. Jamal Anderson just trying to keep straight up, not to commit another foul.
Steele was the last deflection. Whelan did well to catch that, but he ends up turning it over. Armstrong pulls up for 3 and knocks it down, and it's a 12-point game.
Goodness me, that's a really difficult shot.
He was out of bounds at the other end of the floor. Perhaps missed that.
So did I. Action down the other end of the floor.
Crandall gets through and gets the lane. 19 now for him.
Goodness me, just a trickery and ability to keep that dribble alive and find a way all the way to the basket.
That's so tough.
Steele sits down. Jordan Whelan comes in. It's only the second time we've had the 2 Whelans on the court at the same time because Patrick got in foul trouble in the first half. Clark spinning into trouble, spinning into Crandall. Pulls up for 3, misses everything.
That was an uncharacteristic shot from Gino Crandall as well. He was just trying to put an exclamation mark on the game like he has done already.
And to build on that Whelan storyline, it looks like they're cross-matched against one another as well, what makes it even more interesting.
Armstrong bringing it forward. I think the shot clock started late.
Well, as we wait for the shot clock, we can hear the Riders bench. They're literally calling out the plays of Manchester Giants. They know exactly what's about to happen, and Coach Pat Nostrum, the coaching staff, shouting instructions to his team as to what the sequence of offense is going to look like.
And they're one of the best teams in the league at doing their homework. No matter what game it is, what team it is, you hear Pablo Vasquez, the assistant coach, there screaming out the set, and then Rob reiterating that, and then all 5 guys on the same page, ready to react.
Armstrong gets all the way to the rim, cuts the lead to 12 again.
He's so tough, and 14 points personal for him.
Nelson Henry with the jam off the assist from Gino Crandall.
And that's the issue, isn't it? We're still talking about the previous play all the while. Riders already down the other end of the floor, and they scored the ball.
Clark, big shot for 3, off the mark, tipped in by Anderson, flying through the air.
Oh, good play there from Anderson. Didn't need to catch it, recoup himself and put it back up. Easy tipping.
But that was all started by Tyreek Armstrong penetration. I'd be very surprised if you don't see him play out the rest of this game.
Jackson spinning, gets in, up and down with it to travel.
Now there's Dan Clark again. Challenging shots, blocking shots, making things difficult. for all the struggles here of the Giants this quarter, you know, they're 12 points down now. They've cut into that deficit ever so slightly, and you know, all is not lost. You know, there's a couple plays here, and the pressure and the tension grows again for this Riders team, and who knows?
Walker and Washington into the game. Armstrong at the elbow, back iron. Ball is loose, bobbling about. Manchester come back with it. Here's Arden driving into Mo Walker and not really getting much out of that. They've got a man down. They could go here, Leicester. Whelan to Loving for three, short. There's almost a reverse box out there by Anderson. Here's Armstrong. Look at the speed of him in the open court. Whelan for three, hits it! All string for Jordan Whelan.
Wow, confident looking shot there from Jordan Whelan, and he's one of the individuals that you'd look at halftime and think, you know, need to get more out of him in the second half, and that's an encouraging sign for the Giants.
He was so big in the semi-final, of course, second leg.
In particular, those final 3 minutes came up huge.
Washington ticking down. He's not got real time for the pass. Did Jackson get it away? He did. Whelan trying to grab the rebound. Walker after it now. Walker misses. Tipped out of bounds by Artisan. It's the Leicester ball.
Wow, the desperation and the competitiveness from both of these two teams. You'd think this is a cup final or something.
Well, on your earlier point, and you're a man who speaks from experience as Mo Walker attacks the basket there. It's not over till it's over in 2014. Your Leicester Riders able to make a late run against my Newcastle Eagles. We up 13 points, and so you got to play this thing out.
Armstrong to Saunders, and a foul is called against Zach Jackson.
No, it's a really valid point. I mean, Manchester Giants could just get out of this quarter within shooting range, you know, within striking range, excuse me, and, you know, as you know, fourth quarters, anything can happen.
Well, they're winning this period by 8. They're trailing the game by 9. Armstrong attacks, blocked by Loving. Whelan. Fouled and scores! Great strength from Mark Loving.
Huge mismatch there. Mark Loving knew he had a good 7-8 inches the advantage there on Tariq Armstrong, and down the other end of the floor as well. He got the best of that exchange as well, and takes the foul and finishes the play.
And all the positive attributes we talk about Tariq Armstrong, that's where he's at a disadvantage. As you've seen Gino Crandell posting him up early, as Mark Loving wants to get in on the action as well.
His third foul. Oh, Loving only just hit the ring there. Again, it's the depth perception on the free throws. Hudson in for Armstrong on that third foul. Couldn't quite get that to Saunders there. Lewis. Jackson, charge. Running down Lewis.
Good position there from Lewis. We've seen Zach Jackson already hurt this Giants team, penetrating in the heart of the defense and shooting a floater. This time Lewis beating him to the spot. But Giants have to be more careful on the offensive end. 15 turnovers for them so far in this game.
Jackson, his second foul. No Leicester player with more than 2. He comes out. Here's Whelan going quickly for Manchester. Can't get it over Walker. Oh, McKenzie. Ball slips out of his hands. Whelan comes up with it. Whelan comes away, leaving his brother behind. Here's Hudson. Oh, massively overcooks the layup. And Loving is on his own. Lewis is chasing hard. And Lewis will foul him. And Leicester won an unsportsmanlike foul. I don't think it will be one. The difference in the unsportsmanlike foul is once you pick the ball up, you're in your shooting motion. So all of those other things go out. So it's only about whether it's too hard a foul. And he's made a play on the ball anyway, so that's a good call.
Yeah, agreed, and I would be upset if that was called a unsportsmanlike foul. I mean, Lewis did a phenomenal job to recover as well. It was an all-out sprint for him just to get back, just to ensure that there wasn't an easy basket made for the Riders on the other end of the floor.
Particularly the way Leicester have shot the free throws today.
Well, it just shows you the magnitude of the event. If this is a regular season game, you know, Lewis probably allows Lovin to lay it up, but it's all the marbles on the line, and it's about a game of margin, so that's a great foul.
The only drawback is his foot. Adekoya coming in. Ooh, Lovin got a little caught there. I think there's some blood there, which is why he's come out of the game.
Some bloodshed on this court today.
Yeah, there has. Not quite as much as Matty McVicker lost earlier.
Aren't you glad you're here, Ant? Sit next to me.
Saunders, top of the key, rims out. Foul on McKenzie on the rebound. He had hold of Jordan Whelan.
He's someone they really need to get into this game, Will Saunders. You know, when you look at the big wins the Giants have had this year, he's been a factor. You know, he's been playing a lot better this year, and his ability to shoot the basketball gives this team easy points.
Lewis cuts to the basket for two.
He's been really good today, Lewis. I think he's a guy that's had a up and down season up to now, but today he's had a positive impact on this Giants team.
Adekoya out to Washington. 6 on the shot clock, pulls up. Back iron. Whelan going at Washington, getting all the way to the basket for two.
That's a tough move, isn't it? He dribbles himself into the post there. Gets all the way in.
21-12 here in the third quarter as Manchester reeling Leicester back in. Walker using his strength, but denied by two Giants players.
2-for-1 opportunity here for the Giants.
And they take it, but they don't get the score. And that's going to be a foul on Saunders. And a technical for complaining. He must have said something the referee didn't like.
It's a quick technical, wasn't it? So, yeah, the guess is the word he chose weren't great. There's a lot of harm there. It's not much for argument there. But the emotions of the game, as we know, can get rather high.
And those are the third and fourth fouls on Will Saunders.
And we talked about it at the top, in particular with Dan Clark, because he loses his emotions at times. But Will Saunders, being one of the few experienced Giants that's played on the stage, he has to know better.
There's a period of this game here, you don't have Tariq Armstrong on the floor, you don't have Dan Clark on the floor, but subsequently you don't have Gino Crandall on the other end of the floor either. So you kind of, you know, your star watchers aren't featured in this game, so you think, oh, who does that benefit? In this quarter, you know, obviously Giants are winning, but this ending of this third quarter, not either team can quite capture the dominance on one another.
Saunders got the unsportsmanlike in the first half, didn't he? So he's actually out of the game. Sorry, my mistake. Said 4 fouls, but it's unsportsmanlike and technical. You're out of the game. So he's had to go to the locker room.
Did the refs catch it?
Yeah, that's where he's gone. We just saw him leaving. Here's Adekoya onto Whelan. Whelan getting all the way to the basket for the lay.
Wow, Patrick Whelan, you know how well he can shoot the ball from outside, but gets to it all the way, challenging defenders and still makes it.
Hudson on the buzzer, lays it in. Rob Paternostro very unhappy with his team for giving up a score there at the end. And he will not be pleased that his team have given up 23 points in the quarter. Leicester still lead, but Manchester are closing the gap. The cup final still very much in the balance here. It's 60 points to 51 in favor of the Riders. Who will win? Find out when we return. Welcome back to Birmingham. Leicester lead by 9. There are 10 minutes to play in the cup final. The Riders will have the first possession of the fourth quarter. Manchester had an efficiency rating of 31 in that quarter. They had an efficiency rating of 29 in the first half. That's how much they improved in the last 10 minutes. Can they keep that going here? McKenzie at the foul line. That's the first score of the fourth.
It's a big play as well. A little bit of vulnerability showed at the end of the quarter. McKenzie's able to knock down the open jump shot.
Well, we brought in a 3-time cup final MVP to see us over the line in the fourth quarter. Ramon, what do you make of this game and how it's poised right now?
I'm very surprised how Manchester came out in that third quarter. Like you said, their efficiency rating went up, and that is huge for them. So I expect them to kind of build on that if they can get stops.
Whelan short on the 3. Walker saves it. And Hudson commits the foul.
And that's an area that hasn't been going for the Riders today. 2 for 14 from the three-point line, and Whelan, a guy who shoots just under 50% from there.
The big question is when does Gardner put Armstrong back in the game with the 3 fouls?
Well, you imagine it can't be too far away. Here's Crandall under pressure, gets the bounce.
Especially if Gino's doing that, he has to pull the trigger really fast.
I think he's just pulled the trigger. Armstrong has gone to the subs bench. Jordan Whelan, 5 on the shot clock. Looking to drive. Is fouled. And he will shoot 2.
It's been a good response from him in this half. Relatively quiet at half-time, and he's found a way on 5 points here. Again, attached to the rim.
Third foul on Crandall. Armstrong returns to the game for Manchester. I've talked about the free throws. It hasn't affected Manchester at all. They're 8 of 9 from the foul line today.
No, you're right, it hasn't. And while Riders are on 12 of 20, unhealthy looking 60% from the free throw line, excuse me.
Crandall, a bit low at the pass to Whelan. Crandall, Adekoya for 3. Clark fighting for the rebound. It's ripped away. Whelan comes up with it. Crandall trying to use his size on Armstrong. Gets the shot away. Doesn't go though. Clark pulls in. Rebound number 11 and time to start panicking.
And he deserves it too. He had to fight 2 possessions there to get that defensive rebound, and he was able to secure it.
Armstrong on 2 is good.
Armstrong, that's the guy they want heating up right there, as you said. Fletcher caught him back in the game. I think Coach Gardner might have heard him because he's back in and he's already doing damage.
If Armstrong hits that 3 for the next couple of minutes, they can really get back into this game.
McKenzie is denied. Manchester come away with it. Whelan loses the ball. Adekoya with the steal. He's off and running. Armstrong chasing him back. He goes past him and lays it in.
That's an issue, and you let Armstrong just give him that just because, that puts him on 4 fouls, and he's going to be your main producer here offensively.
Whelan round the screen, guarded by his brother. Anderson is fouled by Adekoya.
If you're Armstrong, you have to demand the ball in the next couple of minutes. You have to.
He's going to need that support as well from his teammates. Someone needs to step up. Heroes don't have to wear capes, but you need guys in this situation to step up and join the party. And I think one of those guys has left. I think Jordan Williams had a positive influence in the second half. Maybe a Josh Steele, or I think Artisan's been in and out. Dan Clark, he's been doing his thing on the defensive end, rebounding, but he's on 6 points.
Anderson, that one wiped his feet, but it's good. 10 of 11 now, the Giants. Second one is clean. 9 points still separate the teams. Walker to McKenzie, has it knocked away, keeps it alive, stolen away by Anderson. Artisan. Back to Armstrong. Working the screen. Gets in, but forced out, turns it over. McKenzie keeps it in play.
Turnover number 17, and what Riders are really good at is just getting back on defensive transition. This is a team that scores 90 points a game, Giants, and
Crandall, 23 points now for him.
Goodness me. Just like that. Pull-up jump shot, high degree of difficulty, doesn't matter.
And this is when the MVP steps up. When he has Manchester on the ropes, he has to stump on their throat, and it looks like he's trying to do that right now.
Steele, big shot for three. Off the iron, it might come back to him. No, Crandall gets there first.
I think Steele thought that was down. He didn't follow his shot. He was sort of fading away, and you always kind of want to have that reaction if you feel like you've missed a shot.
Crandall gets all the way to the rim once again. 25 for him. Leicester's lead is back out to 13. There are 5.5 minutes to play in the final. Lloyd Gardner calls for timeout.
Wow, sitting next to Ramon Fletcher, and if you hadn't been an MVP on this stage before, I'd say you've got a crystal ball in your pocket, because Tino Crandall is taking over this basketball game, and that's a big kick while you're down, extending this lead to 13.
Yeah, and Manchester has to respond. This is the crucial point. They have to respond coming out of this timeout. They get a three, they get a bucket or a foul, they have to string some stops together.
Well, Gino Crandall is 10 for 16 from 2-point range. He's not made a three-pointer. It's an old-fashioned game where your twos and the ones are getting it done for you. And, well, the record for most field goals in a game, 14, you might remember. No, it was probably before your time. I'm going to talk about Charles Smith. You'll remember that one, won't you?
I remember Charles Smith.
Yeah, but not that
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. It was my first BBL Cup final, and we came across your Newcastle Eagles, and that guy Charles Smith at 39.
He had 20 in the first quarter with a contact lens missing. He put a contact lens in at the end of the first quarter.
The funny thing, I'm not surprised behind that. I've seen him do it numerous times.
Well, Manchester need a run. They need to stop that man as well. Clark hands it off to Armstrong. Here's Clark, big shot for three. No.
Just someone else needs to get hot again. This is a team that accustomed to scoring 90 points per game. They just happen to be against one of the better defensive teams in the league this year.
Crandall couldn't quite get that one to go, but that... Oh, it came off Walker. Thought it was Steele for a minute, but it will be a Manchester ball. Steele. Oh, that's stolen away by Whelan. And Armstrong had to back away a little bit there. He knew the foul situation.
And at this point, this is where experience kicks in. Been in tough games.
McKenzie, big shot for three.
Kimball McKenzie, a guy that's earned himself more minutes in this rotation, and Coach Putnoff should put more trust in him, and plays like that tell us all why.
Oh, thrown away again. No, Hodgson's able to recover.
Didn't Steele hurt himself there? He shoots the three. Oh, he's not hurt himself. He's knocked down the three.
Goodness me, he was faking it, or it's just put on a recovery there. That's a difficult shot.
That might be the momentum that they need. A shot like that, he sees that shot go in, that might be big for him.
McKenzie moves it on, Whelan for three. Back iron.
That's one thing I will say, this Manchester Giants team has got no quit attitude. Remember in the semi-finals against Glasgow Rocks.
Nice pass. And Clark with the dunk. Yeah, they came from 10 down with 3 minutes to go.
So this is
and I reminded you of an old cup final that didn't go your way, but one that did go your way. The Riders were down similar sort of margin, bit more time, and Drew Sullivan dragged you back in. Jorge Calvo hits a three late on to win the game.
Yeah, it was one of those games. Our shot wasn't going down. Newcastle Eagles looked strong, and sometimes you just got to hang in there, just stay around. And if the Giants can do that, 3 minutes, they've showed they can turn a game.
Oh, how does Crandall? Oh, it didn't go in. But Nelson Henry is absolutely grabbed by Artisan. It's WWE stuff, isn't it? Headline ball. Nelson Henry. Just over 3 to play. McKenzie has room. Strings another triple.
That's huge. Kimball McKenzie. 2 big threes in this quarter. That one was huge.
He turned to the bench as well to celebrate. Manchester need a response. Steele. Artisan. Anderson for 3. Replies! Big shot from Jamel Anderson.
Jamel Anderson over the years, he's made some big plays in this very final. Showing us again, he's still got that veteran leadership.
And that's exactly what you need going down in this stretch. Is Jamel to step up, Steele to step up, Dan Clark, and you've seen those the past couple possessions.
Crandall getting all the way to the basket, and he's fouled. I think it was Clark. No, it's Steele who's called for the foul from behind. You can see there just reaching in. His second.
I like that from the point guard as well. You know, sometimes it's easy to clock watch and try and, you know, let the air come out of the game, and you have to shoot a fadeaway jump shot with the shot clock winding down. But Gino Crandall is staying aggressive. He's doing what he's been doing the whole game and attacking the rim. Now, free throws, on the other hand, are not something that's been easy for the Riders today.
He's been doing what he's been doing all game. He's 50% from the free throw line.
Consistency.
Leicester lead by 12, just over 2 minutes to play. Armstrong. Out to Anderson. 5 on the shot clock. Anderson down to Hodgson. It needs to go up. It does go up. It misses everything. It's a shot clock violation. Well, the shot clock's gone mad here. There we go.
We get it.
It went on for ages.
Just in case anyone didn't hear that. Shot clock violation. Tough play there for the Giants, but good defensive stance from the Riders.
100 seconds to play. Leicester trying to take some air out of the ball. And turned over. Manchester get the ball back. Is that a timeout? Yes, it is. Timeout called by Lloyd Gardner with 1:34 to go. Well, if they're going to win the game, Manchester, they pretty much have to keep Leicester to 77 here. They can't give up any more points.
No, and that's exactly it. But look, it's a good play. You know, it's a good play from Tariq Armstrong to apply that pressure there and get him to turn that ball over. And look, it's just, you're at this point of the game now, you just looking for guys to step up. You know, Coach Gardner, give him the structure here, but you need guys to be able to step up and make plays. And what I mean by that is make shots.
I can see something going for Dan Clark there. So pick and top of the key type of thing. That's the type of thing that they need. I can see that coming, or it has to be Tyree. I know if he said his name, but he has to affect him a little bit more.
on the board there. They look like somebody up top, but also look like somebody's coming along the baseline.
The double screen.
Yeah. Back out onto court. The two teams come. Manchester advance the ball to the front court. They don't have the time to waste. Trying to get it into Steele. Armstrong attacking. Gets it to Artisan, who scores.
Tough play there. Put the ball in the heart of the defense and got it to go quick. Not many seconds off the shot clock as well.
Mackenzie will bring it forward for Leicester. Needs to get over the halfway line. He does just in time. And now looking to take some time out of the game. 10 points they still lead by Leicester. Here's Loving for a dagger three. No. Manchester get another stop. Here's Armstrong. Kicked out. Steele for the triple. No. Rebound Nelson Henry. Whelan. Ooh. That's a bit of a grab at half court. Referee says there's the foul. Just got to be careful with those ones. But he was trying to stop the clock. Giants still need one more foul to send them to the line. Well, normally you'd say get it to Gino and let him shoot. But the way he shot free throws today, that might be what Manchester want. Well, they're not going to foul just now. Steele comes for the double. Crandall needs some help. Gets it from Mackenzie. Artisan now commits the foul. That's an odd one. You let 11 seconds go and then commit the foul.
Yeah, it's kind of strange that he let that happen.
Particularly as you had Gino in a double team, so you could have committed that foul.
He felt statistically the best free throw shooter on the team as well, 93% across all competitions. Kimball Mackenzie.
Well, he just had enough on that.
I mean, and from a psychological or attitude perspective as well, he has made two big plays in this quarter, two huge threes, which is, which changes the whole momentum of a game.
Second one is clean. 40 seconds for Manchester to find 12 points. They need a three here. Armstrong attacks. Gets it in. They get a quick two. Foul called. Or is it?
It's a lot going on the
There was
court
a lot
right
going
now.
on. There was Crandall and Armstrong wrapped up on the other side of the floor. There was something happening right in front of us. The referees are going to have a conversation.
Like the Royal Rumble, you don't know where to look.
Yeah. I don't know what the call was. I don't think there's been one, that's why I don't know. So the foul is on Josh Steele. And I think that's his fourth. Not that it matters with 32 seconds to go. Mackenzie will shoot two. Well, it's been a few years for the Leicester Riders since they've been here. It's been a few years since they've won this competition. But Rob Paternostro has won the last 5 finals he's been in. And he's 32 seconds away from making that 6. Armstrong. Out of bounds. Leicester ball. And this one is almost in the books.
And that's been the story of the game. Every time that Armstrong kind of went to the basket, he didn't have an outlet, someone to kick out, and he has to force something up.
It's into Mackenzie. And Anderson fouls him. Well, Mackenzie is going to end up as Leicester's second top scorer in this ball game. He had 1 point at the end of the third quarter. If these two go in, he'll have 15. So 14 fourth quarter points from Kimball McKenzie if this one goes in.
Wow, that's a definition of an influencer right there. Big plays.
Clark onto Artisan. Steele launches the three. It's off the ring. Leicester have the rebound and time will tick down. The Leicester Riders fans and their bench and their coaches start to celebrate. Armstrong steals the ball over, but it doesn't matter because the Leicester Riders are the 2022 BBL Cup champions. They trailed early on, but they took control of the game in the second quarter and kept Manchester at bay from then on.
They did indeed, and we saw some times of that game there where you thought, uh-oh, here the Giants are coming. The Giants' ability to withhold that adversity, they hung around there, they kept in the game, but that final push there, the fourth quarter, the quarter that matters, the Riders were able to implement their strategy. 23-18 in that final period. Gino Crandell, Kimball McKenzie were huge in that.
Well, disappointment for Lloyd Gardner and the Manchester Giants, and they will rue that second quarter. 30 points to 8, the decisive real spell in the game, but they kept on plugging away. They had a tremendous third quarter when you think of that 30-something on the efficiency, and it looked at times like they might just be able to get that over the line, but it wasn't to be for them.
No, and typically as well, Giants are a team that like to play offense. They're a free-flowing offensive team, and they weren't able to get those points in transition. Riders did a really good job of getting back, and the three-point shot as well didn't fall as freely as it typically has for this Giants team. Leicester Riders defense, we say it time and time again, they've held this team to 69 points today and are cup winners.
Well, Gino is the cry from the Riders fans, appreciating the job their point guard did. There he is. And, well, on the big stages come the biggest players, and he showed what he is all about today, took what was coming to him, and in all likelihood, you assume he's going to be the MVP of this final.
Yeah, I don't want to assume anything, Dan, but I think it's a pretty safe bet. 26 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and he was really good as well of just making things happen during those periods of the game you feel like the momentum could have swung. He was the one who controlled the floor and attacked the rim.
Well, the Leicester Riders fans, it's only a short trip back down the M6, M69, but it will be an enjoyable one for those all in red. Here are the numbers on the game, and you can see Leicester didn't really shoot the three ball very well. Were pretty poor from the free throw line, but they just relentlessly got to the basket and very efficiently found a way to score.
And that's fine, Dan. I think that's how you win games like this. They weren't great from the free throw line. They weren't good from the three-point line either. I mean, 4 for 19. You look at that statistic and think, oh, that's a team that's going to be in trouble to score points. But they got 83 points on the board today. Good ability to share. They've had some individual displays here, but defensively they were just so much solid. 69, holding this Manchester Giants team to 69 points.
Well, the presentation party has made the way out. They've set it all up. The chairman of the British Basketball League, Sir Rodney Walker, is out there ready to do the honours in terms of presenting the medals and indeed the trophy. Manchester Giants have developed as a club, I think it's fair to say, in the last couple of years, and this is the stage they want to be on. Yes, it's disappointing not to be on the winning side of it, but there's still a lot of the season to go for this Manchester Giants team.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head, Dan. They've gone from a team that are not making playoffs to now a team that are in finals and competing for silverware, and they're currently second in the league as well. So I think to say that there's not much more left of the season is an understatement. You know, this is a Giants team. There's a lot of excitement around this organisation, and They've done a stellar job to get here at this very venue today.
Dan Clark there, you saw 8 points, 12 rebounds. The important news that everybody wants to know, he only got 11 defensive rebounds, so your record survives another year.
He's had a solid game today, Dan Clark. He didn't have the free-flowing offensive game that he typically has. He's a 14, 15 points a game player, 8 points for him today. But again, part of that, a lot of it's down to the Leicester Riders. They designed for this, they planned for this, they made things very difficult for him today. Lewis, I thought, had a really good game today.
Armstrong with 18 points, really made it difficult for Leicester. Perhaps the little foul trouble which lost him a couple of minutes here or there might have been a key. And Lloyd Gardner has done a great job in his time as head coach of the Manchester Giants to move them to where they are. But now is the moment that the Leicester Riders fans have been waiting for. They've seen a lot of finals, and in recent years they've all been wins. Gino Crandall will go and get his medal. First up, Kimball McKenzie, what a fourth quarter he had.
He was excellent. I thought he was brilliant. I think his energy was good, and of course he made big shots and big plays, but he was good on the defensive end as well. Kimball McKenzie, huge impact on this game.
Well, Patrick Whelan coming up now, got in a little bit of foul trouble, but still managed 30 minutes and contributed across the board. Another winner's medal for Connor Washington.
Oh, good news in the Whelan household. Both brothers played a solid game today. 6 points for Patrick, 7 points for Jordan. But of course, it's Patrick that will go home with a trophy. But both brothers put in a stellar performance.
Rob Paternoster with his children. Of course, there's that iconic picture from the 2013 final of Rob and his eldest son.
Let's not forget as well, Dan, I mean, this is a very winningest team, but the BBL Cup's eluded this organisation in many years. 2014 was the last time they'd won this BBL Cup.
Well, the Riders fans are already chanting his name. There is very little doubt as to the most valuable player of this game is. 26 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a couple of steals. He wasn't ready for the Flames, though. The MVP is Gino Crandall.
And deservedly so. I think it was clear from the first quarter that he was going to implant his impact on this game, and he did that on both ends of the floor as well. Remember back to that incredible block he made on Tariq Armstrong in the first half.
Well, now is the moment for Darian Nelson-Henry, the Riders captain, to come up, to grab the trophy, to hold it aloft. And the Leicester Riders are the Cup champions. They will pose for the pictures, and he will milk the ceremonies, and the ticker tape flies as the Leicester Riders once again are celebrating.
Wow, this winningest program, and Coach Paternoster, this was the trophy that was dispersed in his trophy cabinet as well, all the way back in 2013. The BBL Cup started his long reign of 15 trophies, and it's been a fair few years since he's been able to get his hands back on this one, so this will mean the world to him.
He certainly will enjoy it. Let's get a response from the sidelines. Let's hear from Nat and the boys.
Thanks very much indeed, guys. Ramon, looking at the celebrations here from the Riders side, who've had an extraordinary start to the season, unbeaten in the league. Okay, a slip up in the trophy, but now they land the first silverware of the season. The ceiling's incredibly high for this incarnation of the Leicester side, isn't it?
100%. One thing that Fab always used to tell us is the cup always propels us for the rest of the season. It gets that monkey off the back of the first piece of silverware, and I'm 100% Rob is telling them the same exact thing.
We talked about the strength and depth of Leicester, the bench strength, the cohesion, the direction that this team has, which means that one player can step in seamlessly. And we saw that today, contributions from across the roster.
100%. You saw Kimball come on the court and really had a great fourth quarter. And that's something that's the strength of Leicester. When someone goes to the bench, the next one just plugs right in. But you can't forget about what Gino did. He pulled the strings, and he was the puppet master out there.
Gino was a worthy MVP, and he, of course, was instrumental in igniting the Riders' offense in particular, but defensively, of which he played his part there as well. What changed? Because Manchester had a fluent start, didn't they, Mike? But that second quarter really did for them.
Yeah, I mean, the second quarter changed the game for them, and I think it was that they went away from what was working with them, and they flowed really well into their offense in that first quarter. They were making big shots. In that second quarter, they were taking shots early in the offense, too quick, not flowing into offense and getting guys out of their rhythm. So, and then, Leicester really stuck it on them as well. So when you're seeing shots going in one end and you're coming down, taking quick shots and missing, it really deflates you quite quickly. So Leicester Riders did a great job in that second quarter to set themselves up for the rest of the game.
How impressive a game did Coach Paternostra have, Kieran?
Like I said, he has belief in his players. He allows them to play. He held down the fort at the start. They got off to a really slow start, but they stuck with the game plan. And Rob knows more than anybody else about these big occasions, and I just think he did a great job of making sure his players were relaxed and go out and do the job they did.
Manchester had that fast start and confident start, but Leicester offensively, maybe it's exaggerating to say they spluttered and struggled, but they certainly weren't the typical Leicester offensive machine. Again, with that, what changed? Was that Gino stepping up as the floor general, as the catalyst, or was there more to it than that?
I think, nerves maybe at the start, but at the same time, I think they were taking the right shots. They just weren't making them. And I think when you have that and your coach reminding you you're doing the right thing, you're taking the right shots, they're going to drop. Then Gino just got going. You know what I mean? He was in the zone. They rode off Gino at that time, and it propelled everyone else's confidence as well.
Gino certainly got going. 26 points, 5 assists, 6 boards, couple of steals in the mix as well for good measure. A worthy MVP, and he's courtside now with Drew.
Gino, you're the 2022 Cup champion. How would you best describe this moment?
Oh man, that's a good question. I guess to me it just kind of feels like hard work paid off. I think for a lot of us we kind of expected this outcome. Not to sound brash or sound overly confident or anything, but it's the reason you train. You know what I mean? It's the reason we come out and we do what we do every day, is so that when we have these opportunities, we're prepared. And I think we came out, executed our game plan for the most part. I think we were a little loose with the ball, myself included. Turned the ball over probably more than we wanted to, but I think we forced them into the looks we wanted defensively, and we were able to get a lot of looks we wanted offensively. So I think it's just a culmination of the work we've put into this point.
And after a slow start, you guys seem to get in much better sync as the game progressed. At what point did you think this is going to be our night?
Again, not to sound, overly confident or anything, but probably Monday this week. I just thought we had a good bounce about us in training all week. I thought we had a good attitude coming in. Again, not to sound overly confident or brash or anything, but I got a ton of confidence and belief in the guys behind me. I got belief in Pablo and Rob's game plans night in, night out. A lot of belief in myself. And, I think, again, we just came in and executed the things we wanted to do. And even though we were off to a slow start, I thought we were getting the looks that we wanted for the most part. And I think if you're able to do that for 40 minutes, more times than not, the ball's going to bounce your way.
And the best players shine the brightest on this stage. You finished with 26 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. What does it feel like to get the MVP and prove that you can do it on the biggest stage?
Man, I got to get in the gym and shoot some free throws. But, it feels good. I think we talked earlier in the week about just this is a big stage for guys to prove themselves and, prove to everybody that was in the stands what I already know about myself, that I'm a high-level player, that I can execute, that I can make guys around me better, that I can keep guys involved. So I think it was just a great opportunity, a great showing for myself in that part, and looking forward to keeping that going for the rest of the season.
Congratulations, my man. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
Now, I know that might have been a slightly tongue-in-cheek answer about free throws, but that demonstrates the caliber of player that he is, because for all the highlight reel stuff, Fletch, and all the stuff we love watching to see, a lot of what we're seeing on court is down to the graft. He put in a lot of work in the offseason, didn't he?
100%. You can tell. Like we talked at the top of the show, it's about his mentality. His mentality totally changed, and you can see it as the game goes on and on and on.
He was brilliant tonight, Mike, wasn't he? And it was interesting what he was saying in that interview with Drew, how they felt a confidence right at the start of the week, and he wasn't being arrogant or cocky with that. He just said it just felt right. I guess you've been in winning teams where you must have experienced a similar kind of mindset.
Yeah, I mean, that week leading up to a big game like this is so important. Going over the game plan, making sure the guys are in rhythm, making sure we know what we're going to execute throughout the game. But for this Leicester Rider team, I think, especially for Gino, this started last season. He was the MVP last season. Going into this season, you can tell that he's more confident. He's put in a lot of work over the summer. And now this Leicester Riders team, they're starting to cement themselves as the team to beat, undefeated in the league and then picking up the first piece of silverware here.
Yeah, it has been a formidable start to the season for the Leicester Riders, landing the first silverware of the year, which I'm sure will put a smile on their head coach's face. And Coach Rob Paternostro is courtside now with Drew.
Coach, your 15th title as coach of the Riders organization and holding a BBL trophy. Do these moments ever get old?
Never. It's a great feeling. I think that, like I said to the guys in the locker room before the game, enjoy it. Enjoy this, and they did. And I'm very proud of them. I thought they, competed for the full 40 minutes, and I thought mentally they were solid all the way through.
And you mentioned on the podcast that Gino is someone you take in the car when you go into the park. What makes him so special?
Well, what can you say about Gino? What a day today for him, 26 points. If you take away the outside game, he can go inside. Take away the inside and go outside. Great passer and just an overall great competitor. And I think that's what we love about him is he's a competitor. He wants to win, and the IQ's off the chart. So great game from him.
And talk about the toughness and edge your team brings collectively as a unit on a defensive side of the ball, keeping this third-ranked offense, 20 points below their average.
Yeah, I thought, Pablo Vasquez did an excellent job with the video this week. We really got locked in. I thought that was important. We hadn't played them yet, so it was very important. We locked in on their stuff, and I thought we defended their stuff very well today. They're a tough offensive team, as you said. Armstrong, Clark, very tricky to deal with. But I just thought the work we put in this week on the defensive end really paid off today.
Coach, you said these moments never get old. Go enjoy yourself.
I'm going to. Thanks so much. Thanks to the fans.
Rob Paternostro has had his hands on the trophy for less than 30 seconds, and it appears, fellas, he's already broken it. Take a look at this. Well, I'm not sure that's entirely on Rob, to be honest. I was relying on for Rob might have broken that, but I think maybe it was on him. I'm sure we'll get that sorted out in the end. Defense is what he highlighted, and rightly so, Kieran. That was a formidable performance in that respect.
Yeah, and he credited Pablo. Pablo goes in, puts in the hours as scout. I was saying that the way they took Dan Clark's pick and pop shot away today was a pivotal part of the game. So yeah, it's credit to Leicester. That's what they want to be. They want to be, their identity is defence, and they've done that for numerous years.
Let's look at the contributions from Zach Jackson in particular, because we could have looked at a number of different players given the strength and depth on this Leicester side, but it was Zach Jackson that we particularly wanted to key in on. Mike, what kind of afternoon do you think he had?
I think he did a great job, and I think he did what he does well. Defensively, there he was being a menace, super strong player, and then he hit big shots in big moments. Had a couple floaters down the middle, that 115-foot floater. These little shots around the basket. He's a great pickup for them. A guy that's been around the club before. He's familiar with the situation there. Huge shot there at a big moment in the game there. He just shows up when you need him.
That was key as well, a key theme. I mean, you mentioned it, Fletch. Kimball McKenzie stepping up in the second half of the game, really, and hitting clutch shots at key moments.
That fourth quarter for Kimball McKenzie was phenomenal, and that it was a game-changing play. They really held down the fort. But that's the thing; those players. There's a lot of players on the Leicester Riders team that could be playing bigger minutes than other clubs, but they accept their role. They're ready for the challenge, and Rob believes in them at crucial times. And I think Kimball McKenzie is a perfect example of that tonight. He stepped up when he had to.
Really did, as did a lot of the team. It's never easy to turn up at a final and walk away on the losing side, but the Giants put in a valiant performance. Let's hear from their head coach, Lloyd Gardner. He's with Drew.
Coach, I've been in your shoes, coming up short in these moments. Describe your emotions.
Bittersweet, I think, is probably the way to describe it. Frustrated, obviously, we couldn't get it done today, but proud of the overall body of work. Proud of our guys. We talked before the game and said, this is great for us to have got this far. Obviously disappointed we didn't win.
You got off to a fast start, but where in the second quarter would you say the game changed?
Lots of little bits, really. Obviously, Gino showed his, offensive firepower. He got going. I thought we allowed that. I thought we let some calls get to us a little bit, and then offensively just kind of rushed, tried to make home runs, and that might be the experience of some of our guys. First time at this final, first time at this level. So, yeah, we've got to learn from it, like every game for us. We're still young in what we're doing, so for us to just, take this learning experience and hopefully be back here again and, be better next time.
And not all is lost. You're a franchise moving in the right direction. What will be your message to the guys in the locker room?
I think, as we just said, let's celebrate the achievement of getting this far. Let's look at that as a positive, and let's take the rest of it as a learning experience. That one quarter really cost us today. I thought we did a really good job fighting back in the second half, but we used up a lot of gas to just get back into the game. And if you give a team like Leicester this sort of advantage, it's really difficult to come back from.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Gracious in defeat. Let's look at some of the brightest sparks for the Giants. Well, Dan Clark certainly started strongly. Although, Mike, did you feel you saw enough from him today as the game went on?
I think they just did a good job of knocking him out of his rhythm. I thought they put him in pick and roll situations a lot, which brought on the fatigue. When you're a big 7-foot guy and you got to bang in the post and run end to end and hedge on screens, it really wears you down throughout a whole game. I thought he did a great job on the boards, picking up 12 rebounds today. But like I said, the Leicester Riders did a really good job of forcing him out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, they certainly did. And we saw Jamal Anderson in the middle of the highlights as well. He had some big moments, but the two of them, the big players in the Giants, couldn't get it over the line. Tyreek Armstrong, another key protagonist in this Giants side, who really did his level best, drove hard. The Giants' leading scorer, Ramon. Was he the standout player for you today for Manchester?
Of course, I think so. I like the way he drove to the basket. He also shot that pull-up a couple of times in a three as well. And I think he can use his game going on for the rest of the season and get that confidence, build that confidence. And they still have the trophy to aim for as well.
He fought all the way to the end as well, didn't he? Wouldn't let it go. What can players take from this kind of experience, being on the wrong end of a cup final defeat?
I mean, you can use it as motivation. They're going to play Leicester again. They're going to play the top teams again. They can use this as motivation to see what they did good, and they also can see what they did wrong as well. So it'll be good for them.
The team can draw a lot of positives from making it this far, and we've seen year on year Manchester definitely trending in the right direction, very much an upward trajectory.
Well, they're very capable, and that helps with belief as well. To understand that you can play at this level, but that second quarter, you cannot take the foot off offensively and defensively in the same quarter and expect to win the game. So that's a big learning curve for them, but at the same time, I know they are very capable of being in one of those top teams in this league.
Could very much be in the playoff picture come the end of the season. Now, those of you who've been with us since the top of the show and with very strong memories, remember that at the top I talked about plenty of BBL legends in the house this afternoon alongside 10,000 plus British basketball fans. Well, a veritable BBL legend is courtside now with Drew. Vince McCauley, let's say good afternoon to him.
Coach, it's great to see you. And a pioneer for British basketball. What does it mean to see how this game has evolved to where we got a sold-out event here?
Oh, this is fantastic, and this is what it's all about. It's a sold-out event. It's the up-and-coming clubs, a traditional power like Leicester, up-and-coming Manchester. We got women's championships beforehand. We've got another game now. We've got lots of kids all bouncing balls up and down the causeway. It's what British basketball has always wanted to be about. I think if we continue to build on this, we'll maybe get to where we want to get to.
And as Leicester Riders come out victorious, what is it about this organization that makes them so successful over the years?
Well, this is a thoroughly professional organization, top to bottom. I think they put the icing on the cake with the venue at the Leicester Arena, which is just tremendous for what they do. It allows the community to grow. I think when you look at all of these fans who've come here from Leicester, they're connected to the club. They care about the club. And I think if you're going to grow a really successful BBL club, you're going to make sure people care about what you do. And I think that's what the Leicester Riders, led by Rob and Russell, have been all about.
And we miss you already, Coach. What's next?
I'm just about to think about what to do next. I'm not really quite sure right now, so I'm going to have a little break until the summer. And then who knows? I'm sure I'll be in and around British basketball.
Well, it's great to see you, and thank you for everything you've done for British basketball.
Thank you, Drew. Much appreciated.
We're definitely going to snag him for a few broadcasts before the end of the season, that's true. I heard in comms, everyone disappointed that he wasn't wearing one of his trademark jackets, but looking closely there, the waistcoat was on, Kieran.
He still got it. He still got it going. He was just a little bit more subtle today, you know, trying to keep out the limelight. But yeah, he's still got it going on.
There's no doubt, Mike, we're going to be seeing him, as he said, back very soon in the front line, right?
Yeah, no doubt. He can't stay away. You know, such a tremendous ambassador for the sport. But, you know, with all this new investment in the league and you know, the new teams entering the league, you know, we're going to see him around.
It's an exciting time, isn't it, Ramon, for the BBL right now? Investment coming in. We're here in Birmingham. There's talk that Birmingham going to get that franchise back. So it is really, really positive future for the game right now.
Yeah, that's huge. And it all started last year when Sky Sports came in as well. And we just counterpulled that. We got more teams coming in. A lot, like Ben said, a lot of kids are actually playing the game. And that's something that we've been trying to build for years. So to actually see it, it's awesome.
It's been an absolutely special occasion. And as always, with our coverage here on Sky Sports, we're trying to give you a different perspectives of the game that we love, including miking up players who are on that court and showing you how the game played out from their perspective. Gino Crandall and Jamel Anderson were the players we mic'd up for the final. So let's hear them.
He's running straight into me, though.
Hey, Dan, weak side big rolling.
Green.
No, I go there. Gino's got that.
Hey, why am I the only one that never gives whistles, man? Hey, come on! Hey! Steve! He just falls. I need you to just rim run. Yeah. Because of the way they're hedging, it's just bringing two to me.
Hey!
Three side. That's the most free throws I've shot since Surrey. Hey! They gotta blow the whistle, man. We're getting hit down here on every drive. You gotta contain the ball. Contain the ball. Crash the glass. Hey! He put the ball right in my hands. Come on, Pat. You know your brother gonna bring it to my chest every time.
Fletch, you've, by my count, been on Sky Sports since we've had the coverage back, I don't know, half a dozen times, maybe more, right? But you've never been mic'd up. How come?
No, I don't think some things that I say might be appropriate for Sky Sports, but yeah, I'm gonna just keep it there.
Take a leaf out of Mike Tuck's book, because you absolutely love it.
Oh yeah, you know, you gotta play up to the cameras. When the cameras are in town, you gotta shine, and we love it. We love being on Sky Sports. It's great for us.
We can also edit, so I'm just throwing it out there. We can edit a lot of things.
That is a very good point. We'll have words
make you sound Scottish, you know.
We'll make it happen. Speaking of the action on Sky Sports, we've got a very big basketball February coming your way.
He's going to back down, spins into a double team, and Kelly with the flush. Wow. Washington. Oh, what a shot from Washington. Here's Defoe rolling to the basket, rolling back the years. Here's Glasgow. He's going to take the threes. Court chance for a 4-point play.
And the action continues next week with the London Lions taking on the new Cup champions, the Leicester Riders, 7 p.m. on air, 7:30 tip. Many thanks from all of us here in Birmingham. Fletch, enjoyed spending time with you. Mike, Kieran, and all the team here. Brilliant work as ever. We'll see you next Friday in London. Bye for now.